Yo, OC with you on the original OC channel. Breaking news in the watch world. Breaking news. It's true. An exclusive here on the original OC channel. Believe it or not, Patek Philippe has boosted prices in the United States to record highs. Record highs. Unbelievable, but true. And we have all the details. We have all the details. We have all the new prices in the United States. I got to tell you, some of the prices are astronomical. And by the way, we also have news out of Omega today. A brand new release or an updated release from Omega. The Railmaster is back. The Railmaster is back. And we'll be covering everything about the release of the Railmaster as well. Let's see who we have on the stream. In the chat, we have Wristwatchholic. Thank you for breaking the news. Wristwatchholic is on the ground and gave us the first heads up about the price increase. Thank you, Wristwatchholic. You're helping to break national news. Really appreciate it. Wristwatchholic is also a member of the original OC channel, and very much appreciate everybody who is a member. We love our members. So what I'll do is remind everybody that to become a member, here is the link. Boom. Feel free to upgrade your memberships if you want. Andy Lewis is in the chat. Patek Philippe customer. We'll love to get his reaction to these draconian. Is draconian a word? I mean, draconian means, what is draconian? Let's look it up. Draconian. I mean, I remember like the word draconian price cuts. Oh, harsh and severe, excessively harsh and severe. Yeah, draconian. This is a draconian price increase by Patek Philippe. Macallan Drinker is in the chat, also a member. Andy Lewis is also a member. Thank you guys. Third this time, not bad. Third is not bad. Let's, guys, let's get to 10 likes right out of the gate. Hold on a second. I just got to check something real quick. Boom. All right. Boom. We blew past the 10 likes. Thank you very much. Hey, we got middle class guy. Constance Kwong is in the chat. Constance Kwong, known as his YouTube name is Middle Class Guy, also a member of the channel. Good afternoon. Stream was great yesterday. You should do more collection critiques. Listen, mate, should I do paid reviews? should I send you my PayPal? Guys, I'm doing paid reviews. Except I'll do paid reviews for $100. I'll do paid video reviews of your collection for $100. I got Marine Layer in the chat. What's up, Marine Layer? Got them all. Draconian equals harsh or extreme. Thank you very much. I was able to look that up. Mr. G, the Patek game is fucking over. Wow. Blatant use of profanity to describe the situation. I think profanity is justified. I just looked up my watch, the watch that I have in my collection, the 5396G with diamond baguette hour markers. It's now over $68,000, which makes it the most expensive piece in my collection. It's true. I can't believe I own a watch that's that now costs $68,000 new. It's unbelievable to me. Vimal jumping in with a little bit of common sense. He's trying to calm us down a little bit. Hey, if you can afford a $60,000 Patek, you can afford a $63,000 one. Changes nothing, actually. I don't know. I just think these incremental price increases are killing us. It's a slow drip of death. You can't keep increasing 3 to 5% every 6 months and not have it have a cumulative effect. Got D Wood in the chat. Rose gold Cubitus in the authorized dealer window here in Spain. I'm sure it is exhibition only for display purposes. Got Goldfinger 0808 in the chat. What's up, Goldfinger? And that's it. That's all we have in the chat. Huge shout out to the folks at Omega. Omega, by the way, launched an updated Railmaster today. Check it out. And it's actually super affordable for a watch like this. This is under $7,000. Some of the models are under $6,000. It's a 38 millimeter stainless steel watch. There are two versions, one with a central seconds and one with a small seconds. And I think there's also a version on the strap and one on the steel bracelet. Going quickly to an article on monochrome. Let's pull this up here. By the way, quick reminder, when on your iPhone, please go to Settings, Notifications, YouTube, and make sure you have notifications enabled on your smartphone. Whatever smartphone you're using, go to Settings, go to Notifications, then go to YouTube or Settings, YouTube Notifications, whatever the sequence is, and make sure you have notifications enabled. And then on top of that, when you go to my channel homepage, make sure you have notifications set to all. That way you can be notified whenever we go live. Let me show you the two new I'll just show you this article here. Boom. These are the two new Railmaster models. check it out. You've got a gray gradient dial, gray to black on the right with the center seconds, and then you have a brown to black with a sub-seconds on the left. Shall we go through this? Let's see this. The 2025 Omega Railmaster. The Railmaster is back, guys. So the Railmaster is 38 millimeter. Check this out. The dials and displays are different, both with new versions of the Omega Railmaster. Both versions of the Omega Railmaster share the same case. Classic in design with symmetrical layout and signature lyre-shaped lugs. So let me see here. I'll just go back to this picture. No. Boom. Uh, 45 millimeter lug to lug. It's a 38 millimeter case, 45 millimeter lug to lug, 12.36 millimeters thin with 150 meters of water resistance. And these sell, I think I have the Omega website here. Boom. The Railmaster collection. Check it out. The brown looks really good. Look at this. 5,800. 5,800 for the center seconds on steel bracelet. 5,400 for it on the strap. And then you have the sub-seconds. 6,400 on the bracelet. 6,000 on the strap. Pretty dang affordable, if you ask me. These are really good pictures. Let me see if I can pop one up. Nice big fat picture for you guys of the brown one on a strap. Pretty sweet. We got the watch hangout in the chat. We got a lot of people flooding in here. Let's see. We've got DP, got Rose, D Wood, Jonathan Smith. Watch hangout. Thanks for popping on, guys. The link. Oh, did I pin the link? Yeah, pin the link. If you want to jump on the panel, the link is pinned. Now, for the breaking news of the day. The breaking news of the day. Patek Philippe has boosted prices to record highs in the United States. Prices are now at record highs. Patek Philippe implemented a draconian price increase for the United States today. And if you send in a super chat starting at $1.99 or super sticker, super chat would make more sense. Name the reference and I will show you the new price. So if you want to know the new price on any model, type in a reference number with a $1.99 super chat. But prices have gone up. Is Patek Philippe out of reach? The game is tough. And I'll monitor the chat and see if some requests come in to look at particular reference numbers. But check this out. Let's go through all of the images here. Got the Railmaster in brown. This is really small. How do we make this better. Um, boom. I'll move myself down here, make it a little bit bigger. There is the gray with the steel bracelet. There it is on the wrist. It's got a new, I don't want to say president style bracelet, but it's brushed on the outer links, polished center links. Two options from which to choose. This is basically like an Aquaterra with a different dial and maybe like slightly better specs. Is that what it is? I know there are a lot of fans of the Railmaster, and this is one of the originals right here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I like that one. I like that one better. I like the older ones better. Oh, check out that old advertisement. Man, I like those. Those old ones were better. Okay, these aren't bad though. Let me know what you guys think of the yeah, Rose says that this Railmaster gives off Zodiac vibes. I agree. I think it's the triangular shaped indices that really give it Zodiac vibes for sure. Dial looks pretty good. Better than Moser? Better dials than Moser, would you say? Hmm. Andy Lewis with a flamingo blue highlighted comment 5821 1AR. Now I know what that is. That is a cubitus, two-tone cubitus. So let's check out the two-tone cubitus. A two-tone cubitus. Here it is. Let's check it out. Now, this was already a pretty expensive watch when it came out. Let's see. Let's see the new price. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to click on this thing. I'm afraid to know what it is. What do you guys think it is? What do you guys think it is? The two-tone cubitus. Type in your guesses in the chat. 65,270. 65,270. That's an increase of like $2,000. I think this puts it out of reach. Out of reach. Gorgeous watch. Gorgeous. What do you think of that? I mean, I'm glad Andy snagged his when he did. Got Marcelo time in the chat. We got Magic City. Thank you for being a member, Magic City. DP says 65K. I'm out. It's expensive. Yeah, originally it was 63,000. Now it's over 65,000. Ouch. If you have any other models that you want to see, let me know in the chat. I'll happily pull them up. I'll give you a freebie, by the way. And that freebie is the one that belongs to OC, which is this incredibly elegant and sophisticated annual calendar. It's the OC. It's the 5396G white gold, blue dial, diamond baguettes. I never thought I would own a watch that sells for as much money as this one does. But believe it or not, the price of this watch now is a whopping $68,230. That's outrageous. I don't even know how I can afford this. How did I even buy this thing? Did I actually pay for this or did I steal it? Maybe it was like 45,000 when I bought it and the prices have gone up since then. I can't. Why would I pay $68,000 for a watch? That's mind-boggling. That's insane. Phew. It's tough. Patek is tough. Got Scott Wexlin in the chat from Pennsylvania. What's up, Scott Wexlin? He says, good afternoon, everyone. I don't know. Breaking news. If you just joined us, Patek Philippe has implemented draconian. Is it draconian or draconian? Draconian. Draconian. How about draconian? Draconian price increases. They have boosted prices in the United States to record levels. Record levels. Prices in the United States have been increased to an all-time high. If you're curious about a particular reference, enter in $1.99 super chat and we will pull it up. You will be shocked. You'll be shocked. You'll be flabbergasted. What else is going on in the world? Anything you guys want to chat about? By the way, I'm looking forward to seeing Mission Impossible 7. Is there anybody in the chat interested in seeing Mission Impossible 7? I think it's called Mission Impossible 7 Return of the Mission or something like that, or Revenge of the Mission. Or it's like Mission Impossible Forever. What's the name of the movie, guys? What's the actual name of it? It's like, I don't know. But listen, I love Rolex, and you know who else loves Rolex? Tom Cruise. That's right, Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise just showed how much he loves Rolex in this article, courtesy of Esquire. Courtesy of Esquire. Tom Cruise just showed off a Rolex that's almost impossible to get. The actor's latest timepiece isn't just rare, it's made from a meteorite. The Gibeon meteorite. Yeah, the Gibeon meteorite to be exact. For more than 4 decades, Tom Cruise has been many things to many people. The brash Navy pilot, the smooth-talking sports agent, the impossible mission specialist. But one constant has been ticking quietly along with him, his enduring affinity for Rolex. Cruise has long favored the brand both on and off screen, using the world's most iconic watchmaker to signal character, status, or simply his own personal taste. In Rain Man in 1988, his character Charlie Babbitt wore a gold Rolex Day-Date, the kind of watch that says you've made it, or at least want others to think you have. In Cocktail, also 1988, a steel Rolex Air King, shout out to Air King Ben, played sidekick to his upwardly mobile bartender, Brian Flanagan. Off-screen, his choices are equally telling. A Rolex Datejust reference 16200 in stainless steel with its white Roman numeral dial and smooth bezel, has made regular appearances over the years. It's the sort of no nonsense old school offering from the crown. Reach for the crown that doesn't shout for attention. Cruise has also worn the technically impressive Sky Dweller, reference 326934, a dual time zone watch made for international travel, international mystery, a category the cruiser knows intimately. There it is. This is the watch that he was seen with. You know what it is? I'll show you. I'll explain in a second. In recent years, his taste has leaned bolder. The Rolex Daytona 116500 LN with its crisp black and white panda dial and ceramic bezel, and the white gold GMT Master 2 Pepsi, rich in nostalgia and luxury, have upped the wattage of his collection. This week, in a quiet, extravagant turn, Cruise has turned toward the cosmos. That's right. Boom. Check out that baby. While promoting the latest Mission Impossible, he's been spotted wearing a white gold Rolex Date 840 with a meteorite dial. A watch that Tom Cruise has plenty in common with, being timeless, rare, and cut from another world. This vision of the day date is far from ordinary. The dial is carved from the Gibeon meteorite, which fell in Namibia and is prized for its naturally occurring patterns of crystalline formed as the meteor cooled over millions of years in space. Each dial is unique, and the meteorite dials are reserved for gold or platinum models. Good to see Tom Cruise sporting an incredible new Rolex reference in his collection. Boom. There it is. Shout out to Skip Intro. Really appreciate your support of the channel. Skip Intro is also great at feeding me topics for the live streams. By the way, topics are always welcome. If you know me on WhatsApp, you can always send me a message. You can also send me messages, direct messages on Instagram. I welcome show ideas and show topics. Got Buckley in the chat. Got St. Peter. What's up, guys? Genji's in the chat. Ghost of Yiddish Gambino's also here. Mark646. If you're watching right now, type in a comment in the chat. I would like to personally greet every single viewer. Tom Cruise has a nice collection. Must be very cool to have his wealth and worth and ability to get these Rolex references. Yep. And he's got Daytonas and he's got the Air King. He wore the Air King in Cocktail. Shout out to my very dear friend Air King Ben, who's watching right now from Australia. I think he is. Air King Ben, are you watching? Air King Ben always watches. He wakes up in the middle of the night. He watches on replay. And it's going to be my pleasure and honor to hang out with Air King Ben in Dubai in November. We have a big posse. Big posse. By the way, I don't want to say who else is joining us, but come with us to come to Dubai. Ghost of Yiddish Gambino says the Patek price increase across the entire line means your journey is going to get delayed a bit. Make it delayed, or it might get more expensive, or both. Hey, huge shout out to Stefan. Stefan is in. Are you Switzerland? Stefan, you're in Switzerland. It's good to see Stefan watching the stream. Stefan's very, very good friends, childhood friends with somebody who's very important in the industry. He's very, very important in New York, that's for sure. Industry insiders. Oh, you're in the UK? Okay. Got CQ, the watch guy, in the chat too. In case you just joined us, there's over 40 people watching. In case you just joined us, breaking news: Patek Philippe, the most coveted, iconic, and collectible brand in the world, has just boosted prices in the United States to record highs. Record highs. Draconian price increases went into effect across the entire range. It's true. If you type in a 199 super chat, I'll pull up any reference. And you can see the prices. We already got a $1.99 super chat for this, the two-tone cubitus, and you'll be shocked to see that the price has gone to $65,270. $65,270. Yeah, it's tough. These are big prices. CQ, the watch guy, says, how many percent? Patek Philippe prices have gone up by 112% today. That's right. Prices have more than doubled. I'm not sure about that percentage. I mean, that may not be entirely accurate, but I think it's 112%, or maybe 106%, or maybe like 152%. I'm not sure, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Brody, thank you for the flamingo blue highlighted comment. Brody wants to see the 6196P. That's the new Calatrava. Hold on a second. I will pull it right up. Now, this was $47,000 before the price increase. So let's see what it is now. We've got the entire Calatrava range here. And the 6196 is right here on the bottom left. New for 2025. Boom. Here it is. Here it is. And I'm scared. I'm actually scared to find out the new price. Oh, here we go. I'm going to scroll down. I love how they hide it under this carat. Like, they make you look for it. Like, what if you don't know what that carat is? This is the... Come on, guys, fix the website. There's no need to have the carat there. Just put the price where we can see it. You know? It's just silly. Like, here it is. Ooh! 49,440. Are you shitting me? Hmm. Let me do the math. Holy, that's like a 5% increase. 5.2%? Shit. You're fucked, Brody. How are you going to be able to afford this? It's impossible now. These prices are these Pateks are now completely out of reach. Out of reach. Shit. He thought he wanted a stately and elegant and timeless Calatrava to add to his collection in platinum. It would have been perfect. But now the prices are way too high. Way too high. Forget it, guys. Don't even start the Patek journey. I can't even believe that my watch, this one right here, I bought this watch back when it was like 37 grand. Now look at it. 68,230. That's mind blowing. That's mind blowing. CQ, welcome to the panel. Did you hear about this price increase, or did we once again exclusively break news on this channel? CQ, no audio. Check your mic. You're muted, by the way. You're muted. Unmute. If you have a reference you want me to pull up, it's a $1.99 super chat, guys. $1.99 super chat to help fund the channel. All of your super chats go right back into investing in high quality content, or in this case, low quality content. Wow. Evan G says the 5172G is over $90,000 now. Holy crap. CQ, you're still muted, by the way. Yeah, jump back on. Check your audio. Come on, you got to be a professional live stream panelist. Got to get your audio sorted out. Evan G, by the way, luckily is a he reached for the crown and he got the crown. He has the day date. He has the day date. Middle class guy says the 5226G is up 10% from 2024. These are astronomical price increases. Wow. Hey, Ghost of Yiddish Gambino, $1.99 super chat. Flamingo blue highlighted comment. Thank you. The 50 is he's squeezing in 3 models here. 3 models for the price of 1. All right. We'll make an upset. We'll do the first one, 5811. The 5811. That means we need to go to the Nautilus. I never thought I would know so many Patek Philippe reference numbers, but I do. And here we go. We're looking at the 5811. That is the Nautilus in white gold with the blue dial. I'm scared, guys. I'm scared to reveal the price. I'm really, really scared. Shit. What is it going to be? What is it going to be? Here we go. We're scrolling down. 8.2 millimeters thin. I like that. I like the fact that it's so thin. This is a gorgeous watch. Come on, man. Look at that. 41 millimeter, white gold, 8.2 millimeters thin. It's got the nice surround around the window now, the date window. Look at that. This is not a cheap and nasty bracelet like the steel counterparts. It's not made in China, guys. This is gold. It's gold. And it's got the micro adjustment. And the price is $78,000. The 5811 is now $78,000. Holy crap. Jeez. And that's the only time only Nautilus in the lineup. I think, right? Am I wrong? Did I just make that up? Let's go to the Nautilus section. Let's ignore all these ladies references. And oh my God, look at it. How many rows of ladies Nautilus there are. Look at this. There's 5, then another 5, and then another 5, and then 3 more. So there's 18 women's references. And then there's almost nothing left. There's almost nothing real. I mean, take out the gem and models. You got a 5740. You got the 25990s. You've got the 5980, 5726, both configurations, bracelet and strap. You've got the 5811 and the 5712. That's it. That's all that's left in the Nautilus line. There's nothing left. The only time only reference in the lineup is the 5811, and it sells for a jaw-dropping $78,000. Ooh. All right, CQ's back. Audio check. You're on mute. I have to unmute yourself. There you go. Now talk. Check, check. Nope. Don't hear anything.
Can you hear me
now? Almost.
Hello.
Nope. Not working. Not working. I mean, we heard you, but it was all kind of like staticky. Listen, maybe the cartel got to CQ. They don't want him. They don't want him on the panel. If anybody else wants to jump on, I'll drop the link again. It's also pinned at the top of the chat. Yeah, it's tough. Tough. 78,000. Oh man. Now it's a gorgeous, gorgeous watch. Don't get me wrong, but for time only. Time only. It is white gold. It's white gold. Also, news today. The Railmaster. Omega reveals the Railmaster. Check it out. There is a brown with subdial, sub-seconds, and there is a gray with center seconds. The Railmaster is back. 38 millimeters, 150 meters of water resistance. Yep. And a lot of people have been looking forward to this. Like Dear Artifact. Dear Artifact's a huge Omega guy. So I'm sure he's very, very pleased that this watch has been introduced. It's basically like a version of the Aquaterra, like the Seamaster Aquaterra, right? 12.36 millimeters thin. It's not the thinnest watch in the world, but I think there are people who are going to love it. It's a good looking watch. It's not bad. Would I buy it? No, but the price is so attractive. Price is very, very attractive. It is super attractive. Yes, love.
Speaking of super attractive.
Yeah, speaking of extremely attractive guys.
Greetings.
Yes, love. The prices have gone through the roof.
What happened? What happened? Give me the goss. This just happened today, huh?
This is breaking news and exclusive here on the original OC channel. Patek Philippe has boosted prices in the United States to all-time highs. They've implemented draconian increase measures for their U.S. customers.
They're strengthening the brand, OC. They're strengthening the brand. We got to weed out all these, up-and-comers.
Geez, they have... they've increased prices to stratospheric levels.
Is it case by case, or is it just a once-over percentage?
It's everything. I think it's everything across the board. Now, you famously have a 5326G, correct?
5320. 5320.
5320G.
Well, I know as of a few months ago, the retail on it was 101. Let's see what it is now.
Because you're on the panel, we will pull up the new price. Now, I happen to like yours better. Yours has the cream dial. The current version in the catalog has the salmonish-y kind of dial. Yeah. I like yours better. I'll be honest. I like yours. Do you guys care to guess what the new price is?
I'll go 107. I haven't looked. I swear I haven't looked.
I'm scared. I'm scared to look. Here we go. We're gonna hit that famous carrot here and reveal the price. $108,650.
Hell yeah! Let's bring up that secondary, baby.
Holy shit! These fuckers are nuts.
That's crazy. I gotta ask Humble Pine, because I remember. I think he said when he got his. At the time, they were giving discounts. I gotta ask him what retail was when he got it.
I think he paid around $77,000 at the time.
Yeah, that seems like that's crazy. They're up $30K from just a few years ago.
I know. I don't know when he bought his exactly, but there are a bunch of people in the community that were lucky enough to get perpetual calendars before the prices started going through the roof. 108,000.
So from 101, that's like what, 6-7%?
Yeah,
that's a big increase.
Huge increase.
That's not even subtle.
That's like that would have covered like a big chunk of your sales tax.
Wait, so let me ask you. So they just had all these releases. So go to the 6196 because I think that was like 41K. Did they already increase that?
Yes, they already increased it.
No way. That's hilarious.
It was 47,000. Okay, 47,000. And Brody already did a super chat to pull it up. The price is now 49,000.
Oh, what? That is shiesty. You release it, and then a month later, fucking, I don't know. Jeez. That's not a good look. I mean, I guess the tariffs, they got to do something. I mean, I'm assuming that's the only reason for this. I mean, what?
Well, I hate listening to their excuses.
Right.
They just make up lie after lie.
Right, they'll come up with anything. Right.
The exchange rates have changed.
Right.
Have you seen the price of gold, Kessler? The price of gold has gone
sky high. Exactly. We can't find watchmakers.
Yeah, the watch. Yeah, we got to train new watchmakers.
Yeah,
we've reached capacity. These are very hard to make. These are all made by hand.
So this went from 47 to 49.
Yeah, 47 to 49,440. It is a hair shy of $50,000.
Now I'm convinced this is going to go for a hell of a premium. I'm thinking like 60, 70K. But I just talked to a dealer who is thinking these will go under, which I'm very skeptical. I almost want to make a bet with him. I mean, I know most dress Pateks, at least, after a year or two, start coming down. But I think this has a lot of love. I'll be curious to see how this one holds up.
I think it's going to go at least 5 to 10% over retail for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got a note here. I just received word from a viewer that another major brand implemented a massive price increase today. Cartier apparently also implemented what can be best described as, I'm going to use the word again, draconian increases across the lineup. The prices have gone up a considerable amount. We'll pull up Cartier in a little bit. If there's a particular Cartier reference you want us to pull up, do a highlighted comment in the chat and we'll do a search for it and pull it up.
I mean, this only helps secondhand, right? I mean, you've got to think it's going to eventually drag prices up.
It has to. What is really fascinating to watch, this whole idea of retail prices pulling up secondary. The unique example that I'm going to be watching is the white gold blue dial Daytona, right? Which just got reintroduced for the 2025 model year, but has been available for a long time in the previous reference. Now, the previous reference was going for between 38 and 42, and now the new one is like 46 plus tax, so it's basically like 50. So the question is, will the prices of the old ones be coming up? I don't think they're coming. I think to see the new one with such a premium, $10,000 premium for unworn and new, I think that'll test. It'll test if the secondary prices are able to jump up or not. But certainly for Patek, this is a great reason to,
Speaking of prices jumping up, hello CQ.
Yeah. What's up, CQ?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
The comms.
Yeah, the Bluetooth is. If you're on Bluetooth, kill it because the Bluetooth sucks. If you're not on Bluetooth, try something else. But yeah, the 6196, which is one of the most coveted references from the new releases, is up to $49,440. Ouch. And don't want to get political, but we'll pull it up anyway. It's not a political statement. Chalk flew up in the chat. One of my he was a professional tennis player, huge tennis player back in the day. He actually played Jimmy Connors.
Pete Sampras?
He played, yeah. This is actually Pete Sampras. He's coming to Dubai. Chalk flew up. And to those who thought the companies would pay the tariffs. Yeah.
Ooh.
No, the countries do. The countries pay the tariffs. We're going to be collecting record revenues, revenues. Well, it looks like the costs are being paid by us.
And if they call off the tariffs in a couple months, some sort of renegotiation, they're not bringing the price down.
Prices never go down. They only go up.
At least with Patek. Vacheron they've done that. I remember when they came out with that third generation overseas, they dropped the price after no one bought it. It's terrible.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, yeah, you're back. All right, cool.
All right, that sound okay?
Yeah, now you sound perfect.
All right, sorry about that.
What changes in your setup from yesterday to today? Like, what do you do?
So I've installed a bunch more stuff so I can stream games and things like that. But that is another audio driver, blah blah blah. So now StreamYard wants one signal, I'm sending 30 other signals. I've made my life more complicated for no reason, basically.
All because you want to spend 8 hours a day playing Wizards of Warcraft or whatever the fuck.
Exactly. I feel like if I could get paid to play video games and be on the beach, I should give it a shot, right? I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's see.
Yeah. Literally a month ago, the prices of these were a good bit lower. You've been John D says he's been taking screenshots of the web pages to track the impact of the tariffs. The 5235R went from $62,920 to $66,000 That's a 3% increase. It's a 5% increase for that particular model. Yeah, these prices are these watches aren't for poor people, that's for sure.
No, those days are gone. I remember a day where you could have come to me with $20,000 and I could have sold you a Patek. You know, we could have figured it out.
It could have been one of the it would have been one of those really ugly ones with the Roman numeral dials, and it's like 35 millimeter. But I know, but I remember those too.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. 18 grand, but it's a Patek, you know. And now, you know, you come in with 20 grand, and I look at you and just say, "Sir, would you like some straps?" Or what are we talking about today?
Yeah,
you know,
you'll get nothing for 20 grand. Absolutely nothing. Cartier, by the way, apparently just jacked up prices as well in the United States. I don't know if that means if that's across Richemont or if that's just Cartier, but people are going to be spending more for their, well, we just had Mother's Day, but I don't know, more for their birthday gifts and their anniversary gifts going forward.
It's tough, man. I think all the brands have realized that the 10% is not going away. So they're going to adjust for it. I think they're holding off just to see, hey, maybe this goes away. Maybe we can figure out maybe it would have just been a couple points just for currency. But the 10%, I don't think is going away. And that's just like a reality. It's a 10% increase in everybody's cost of doing business. And yeah, so there's no way to dance around it. You know, they're pinching dealers a little bit as well. So dealers, as much as we're seeing prices increase, the dealers are also seeing a decrease in their profit margin, which is interesting because at these prices for everything but Patek, I want a discount. I'm not paying more. I'll take a trip to the islands and I could get everything but a Patek or Rolex in the islands easily. So, you know what I mean? Why would I spend over $10,000 on a watch in the US right now? That's not a Patek AP Richard Mille. If it's anything else, there's no reason for me to buy it domestically.
They're constant. The entire industry is being consolidated into basically like 3 brands at this point. By the way, this is the 5235. This is the annual calendar.
Good watch.
Beautiful.
You like this one? John D has this one.
Sloped bezel, sharp lugs. I like this. You know what's cool about this? The logo itself, the Patek and Geneva, that's actually engraved onto the dial.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people don't know. A lot of people think that it's printed, but it's actually an engraving on there. It's pretty cool.
I like that. If true, do I trust you?
Got to. You know what's cool too about this specific Patek? It actually hacks. This movement will hack the seconds.
Yep.
Is it you do it that the way where you hold the crown a certain way, or you pull it back, or
no. When you pull the crown, it actually hacks.
Yes, true hacking.
True hacking movement. So this is the 260, which is a different movement. Yeah.
Yep.
40.5 millimeter case. Yep. And boom, there it is. $66,010.
You know, one thing I like about the movement architecture, if you look at the case back, one thing I like, see how all the bridges align. You see, they all create like a nice cohesive wave.
Yes.
It's really well designed. It's not an afterthought, you know, it's really...
Let me get a great shot here of the back. There you go.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like a very nice.
It's like a creek, you know, like a creek running through.
The river flows through it, and also the Geneva stripes are very broad. If you notice on the bridges, it's a very broad. It's a little bit different. They do things a little bit differently on this one. I like this piece.
I buy Patek from you. You're good.
This
Hey, you just reminded me. Stay on. When we go off stream, stay off for a second. We need to talk.
All right, I got you.
This is one of the nicest looking movements with, as what Kessler said, the plates that kind of have the gaps but look like little rivers running through, and you can see a lot of the gears. You got the micro rotor. There's lots of perlage. There's small perlage. There's bigger perlage. Peruka in the chat can correct me if I'm not using the proper terms because I don't really know anything about watches, but I see anglage there. I see polished edges. I see rubies. I don't see blued screws. I'd love to see a couple of blued screws.
No, this is black polish. They do the black polish, bro. Mirror polish.
Tell him, Kessler. Tell him.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what black
screws over here.
Black. I'd like to see some blued screws.
No, Patek doesn't do the blued screws. They leave that for others. Yeah.
John D says, very much bought this watch for the movement as much as the interesting irregular dial and inspiration from Philippe Stern's office clock. Yep, John D has this. John D, you bring this one. Bring this one to the next meetup. We do dinners in New York City, and John D is one of the inner circle members. Yeah. No, I'm not a big fan of the subdials at the 12 and 6 as they kind of split the. It's not my my typical look.
Oh yeah, I just remembered. And the buckle on this is unique to this piece. It's like a vintage style buckle. It only comes with the 5235. Yeah,
yeah, look at that.
Yeah. That's specific to this piece.
Was that an old logo that they used to have?
Yeah, that's the vintage style.
Oh wow.
Which I love, by the way. How it goes from small to big, then back to small again. That's good art deco design. I don't know.
I don't know what design it is, but it's retro. Take a look. Boom, blow up the movement here.
This is a beautiful watch. I personally like the white gold version a little bit better just because I fell in love with that first, but this is also a beautiful watch. I'm a big
Is white gold part of the current lineup, or was that discontinued?
No, that was discontinued.
They stopped that one in like 2019, I think.
Correct.
There's a lot to like about this one. The brushed satinated effect on the dial. Hold on a sec. So what do we got going on here? There's just one hand, and that hand is the minutes.
Yes, so it's a regular.
And the top is the hours.
Exactly. So everything on a regular timepiece, all the elements of the watch are separated to, for accuracy, blah, blah, blah. So you're going to have your hours at top. You're going to have your minute. That's going to do the whole perimeter of the dial. And then down below, you would have your seconds hand. So and this is also why they made sure this has a Hackens movement, because the whole point of this is to be as accurate as possible. Back in the day when you set your pocket watch or whatever, you go to the big regulator clock that was in the observatory with all the old guys making sure everything's on time.
I get it. I can understand why someone would like this one. It's very quirky and different. And
it's a unique annual calendar layout, like month, day up top with date at 6 o'clock. Just not for everybody, but not something you see every day.
Yeah, and if you're going to get the annual calendar, you got to get it from the inventors of the annual calendar. Patek, baby.
That's right.
Hey, Kessler knows his shit, man. I love Kessler.
Let's go, baby. Patek. That Patek life, baby. The meaning of life.
Exactly. Kessler's journey started with the 5212 weekly calendar, correct? Your first Patek.
Yes.
And then after that, you got bored with it, or you knew you wanted to trade up at some point?
No, I love it. I still love it. I just couldn't afford to keep it and the perpetual, so it had to shift.
You had to make room.
It had to morph. It had to morph itself into the perpetual.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
By the way, I got a message that said that you and I, Kessler, should be doing paid watch reviews. Apparently, we did such a great job critiquing and giving recommendations on another person's collection that we should be doing a whole series of paid. How about $200 per review, and we'll do a 15-minute video review of your collection. So
let's see if we can get some traction. Let's go for it.
Let's do it. I mean, we could charge $500. I mean,
somebody pay. Somebody pay. You laugh, but somebody pay.
It'd be worth it to hear Kessler and I, and CQ will add you into the mix too. You can join in if you want.
$500.
We'll do a 15-minute paid review of your collection, and we'll post it to this channel for everybody to see.
There you go.
That's worth it, actually. That's good value. I charge $250 just for that on my own. So boom.
So yeah, this is a unique, but it's now $66,000. I would love for this to have a 05 where the second track is.
Ooh.
And then, that's just my own personal thing.
Oh, a la Air King, your little Air King update.
Yeah, but it's also like it comes from the Longas, how they have the blank space where the date is the date window. So I prefer to have 05. It just adds balance, right?
Yeah,
you're right. I hate that you do that. You always find the one thing to make me I love this watch. There's nothing about me that I didn't like about this watch, and now I can't stop looking at that 5. I'm like, why didn't they put a 0 there? Why
not? It would have been said 05.
It'd have been amazing.
I write my days. I write my date. When I write a date, like on a check, or if I'm signing a bill or whatever, I do it. Like today, I would do 05/15/2025, just to be consistent. Guys, if you have any other Patek references you want us to pull up so you can see the new prices, just a $1.99 super chat. Just a $1.99 super chat. Type in the reference number. We'll pull it up here. Breaking news, if you just joined us, it's the Original OC channel. Smartwatch talk for the smart collector. Patek Philippe has imposed draconian price increases, boosting the prices in the United States to record highs, far out of reach of the common watch enthusiast. It's over. If you thought you were going to get into Patek and play the game, you wasted too much time. You could have done I wasted time. I could have done it in 2020. I didn't even know how to pronounce Patek. CQ pronounces it Patek. I pronounce it Patek. Kessel pronounces it a different way.
Potato.
We don't even know. We don't even know what's going on. But we were late. We were late to the game.
People used to always yell at me, not yell, but be you don't pronounce this and this the right way. And I would say, the brands, all they care about is I sell. No brand rep has seen me sell their watch and come to me and be like, can I tell you something? It's really GG. They're just like, hey, thanks for selling that Jaeger, baby. And they, and we keep it moving.
Yeah, they'll take the money with German pronunciation.
Yeah, exactly. They don't care. I'm a Gottlieb. It's German name anyways.
You just reminded me, you're talking about the pronunciation. Did you watch the interview with John Reardon and Matthew Bain?
No, that sounds good though. That sounds like a good time.
It's really good. But he was telling this one story, when he was buying old watches, and he had a phone number this guy called in and goes, yeah, my father gave me this watch. It's Patek Philippe. And it has a bunch of countries on it, and he's like, yeah, bring it in. And it ended up being an incredible collector piece. It's just funny to hear the accent of some people that don't know. It's you can't blame
it happens every time. And I will say, as a note for anybody who's listening now in the future, if you know that your children, your family, the people who end up in your watches don't know anything about watches, write a little note somewhere, put it in a little something where they can find it. Because honestly, it happens all the time. And John Reardon's a good guy, so I'm sure he did a fair deal. But you don't want your descendants, if they're not going to keep the watch, you want them to get fair value. You don't want them on Reddit asking, what's this watch worth? And then going into a pawn shop. So that's just my little note. I just see it happen all the time. And it's just write a little index card hey, make sure you get 50 grand for this. This is $1 million.
Sometimes it's a mistake. Matthew Bain was telling this story of how he went into an antique shop and he bought this old Cartier tank. It just looked like a normal tank, gold piece, and he bought it for $7,000, and he thought he could sell it for 10 to 12. And he brings it back to the shop, and his partner at the time was a big Cartier expert. He had written a couple books on Cartier. And he came back from a trip and saw the Cartier in the safe. And he's like, do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? And he takes out one of the books. And it was a waterproof Cartier tank. And there had only been 3 ever seen on auction. And so this watch he bought for $7,000 auctioned off for $140K.
Yep. It happened.
But he didn't even know. He didn't even know what he was buying. The seller didn't know. He didn't know. Obviously that's a unique case with the vintage, but good to do your homework.
Always. And yeah, you'd be surprised what right now is still in a Goodwill that's worth, 6 figures. Anything is anything is possible. But don't let your kids give away your stuff. Just put a note or an index card or whatever. Just please, it's sad when you see it happen to the wrong people.
Also, breaking news today: famed luxury jewelry brand Cartier also raising prices. Here is the beautiful Cartier Santos. I love with this feature on their website where you can kind of like grab it and just drag it. I mean,
imagine if AP just spent all the money they spent on the VR stuff and just doing something as user friendly as that.
Why can't they do this? Look at this.
You see how nice that is? Oh, amazing!
This is the beautiful medium model. I love when you can do this, and you can see how thick the bracelet is, and you can also see how. Beautiful. I mean, this reminds me a lot of my King Midas. How these links kind of look. They seamlessly look. They look like they're seamlessly attached together, and you get to see the cabochon there. The cabochon, guys. It's blue, royal blue. But look how thick that bracelet is. Solid gold. You can see the case back. Look at the sheen on that. They really do a good job. The price of this particular model is now $35,500, which actually, when you compare it to a date,
is not bad.
Is not bad, and it also has this cool thing. Like when you flip it around, you see this button right here. This is actually the button to remove the bracelet. Yeah, quick. It's like a quick release system for the bracelet. I think this is just a cool feature on the website. If you guys want me to pull up a specific reference, $1.99 super chat. Got to pay to play. But this is my favorite Cartier model right here. This is the one that I would own if I had to buy a Cartier at retail. I'd hope for a discount, but chances are I'm not going to get it. But look at it: the blue hands, the white dial. No date. I like the medium model. I don't. If you have a super big wrist, I can see going for the large.
How much is a large?
The large is. Let's see here.
Cause see that I was gonna change my mind.
Large model is $40,000. It's $5,000 more.
So when do we start asking for discounts? When is the time?
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine buying this for $40,000. I don't love. See, the date window ruins it for me. I'd love to see the 6 there instead of the date.
I think you're right. Actually, I'll agree with you there. I just think these prices, like, I don't know, man. I get it, but like, this is luxury, and it's very easy to catch a flight to anywhere. Puerto Rico, Aruba, Cayman. You can literally ask your wife, your significant other, where would you like to go? You call the Cartier dealer. Hey, I'm flying in. Boom, boom, boom. I'll even give you a 10% down. Just order it. Make sure I have it. And they'll, plus the champagne, plus everything else. So I don't know.
By the way, you could go to Dubai. You could go to Singapore. Don't avoid the Dubai. Avoid the caning. Avoid the caning in Singapore, by the way.
Exactly. And remember when they put the phone? Oh God, let's not start it. A quick note on Dubai: the U.S. dollar is pegged to the Dubai dirham, the UAE dirham. So prices are increasing there because the dollar has been increasing or decreasing as well. So they're gonna have similar price effects because their currency is tied. So any country that's pegged to the U.S. dollar is probably gonna have the same issues.
Pickled Pickle submits a beautiful flamingo blue highlighted comment. A pickled pickle is in the UK. It's $1. It's a £1.99. Panel's thoughts on the Patek Philippe 5370P. Okay, what is that?
Stunner. Grand Comp, baby. Grand Comp.
Grand Complication. Let's go to the Grand Complication page.
Oh, you got to go blue. Blue dial.
I agree. But I just want to know,
Mono pusher. Split second mono pusher.
5370. Where is it?
Oh, it's discontinued. Yeah, no. You got it's no longer made.
Oh,
they made the R.
Shit.
So you're gonna have to go to Chrono or something.
Is the 50?
Oh, there it is. There's the R right there on the right. You have the 5370R. Same thing.
We'll go with the R. This is new for 2025. Yeah.
Correct.
I think this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I think this is insane. I think this is like a Longa killer.
Yes.
One thing with these colored lacquer dials also that's interesting. So they say with the lacquer, it's easiest to do like a white dial because it doesn't show the imperfections. But when you get into the blues and the browns like this, it's much easier to see the little ripples in the lacquer. So it's a much tougher process to perfect the colored dial for the lacquer.
Now, Peruka says it's not a grand comp. Jump on the panel and explain yourself. Explain what you mean by that. It is a split-second chronograph. Patek calls it a grand complication. Explain why you disagree.
There's a few different schools of grand complication, right? There's a grand complication needs to be something with a multitude of complications. So it should be a perpetual calendar plus a chronograph plus a tourbillon plus a minute repeater. Some form of those combinations that's at least 2 or 3 of those things in once. So with this split-second chronograph, while it's not a bunch of different complications, it is made in a very complicated way, and it's made in a grand complication department of Patek Philippe. And as you can see, the movement there is based on an old Lemania movement. This isn't something like anything basic that even a normal Patek watchmaker would not touch this. This will be somebody who's worked there probably a decade and is in the grand complication department. So technically, in the Swiss watch term of grand complication, maybe it's not going to be there, but in Patek world, this is a grand complication.
And these watches come with grand pricing. Do you care to guess?
Oh, that's right. My bad, CB. You're right. Enamel dial. If I said lacquer, my bad. Enamel.
No, you're doing great, Castle. I want to buy Patek from you now.
Here we go. And the price
500?
302,840.
That is fair.
302,000. Wow.
You know what's interesting too? If you look at the side profile on the case, they use like little cabochons to hold in the strap. You see that?
Yep.
That's kind of interesting.
It's very
that isn't like the spring bar, like or that's that they put that over the hole like a little
basically, yeah, because they use the spring bars that you can pull with the little
quick release.
Yeah, the quick release. There you go.
Gotcha. Everything about this looks expensive. The brushed, the polished, then the brushed, then the bezel, the facets on the bezel. Look at that.
Yeah, this is all money. This is real. Like, you're gonna spend $300K. You feel like you spend $300K. You don't spend $300K and have a piece of plastic on your wrist or something like that. Like
Richard Mille.
Right? Exactly. No, if you spend $300K, you feel the girth of that movement on when you hit that split second. It does something to you when you walk into certain rooms. The young guy's looking at you, the old guy's looking at you, the old guy's wife is thinking about hitting you up in the bathroom on the side. A lot of good things happen when you have a serious timepiece on your wrist.
A serious watch. This isn't like Breguet, right? This is Philippe. You know. It's not
Breguet
about
doesn't take care of your dollars like Patek does.
Don't.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
It's not about buying Breguet on the second hand for like 70% off. 25 cents on the dollar. No. This is about paying for quality. It's about paying for prestige. It's about paying for luxury. And to get into the Patek Club, you've got to pay to play. Look at the elegance of the case. You don't see big fat coin edging here. Nope. You sure don't. You see.
Oh wait, go back to that. I just noticed there's no Calatrava cross on the crown.
Right.
Or maybe zoom in a little bit. Is it? It's gone.
No, I don't think it's there because it's a pusher.
Not there.
Oh,
it's a pusher.
Oh yeah, they flattened it out because it's interesting.
I think they could still put the cross on there.
Yeah, but then you have to make a decision, and then then they have to charge you $315. You know what I mean?
That's another $3K.
Yeah, well, you got to pay the guy to then make the thing. That guy he's not a cheap guy. Nobody's cheap who's working on this. That's a problem. Like when you really see who's working on this, it's like, oh, this guy is not cheap. That guy is not cheap. This lady's very expensive. So it makes sense when you realize what goes into a watch like this.
It's funny that it says email at 6 o'clock. I know it's
this is a Bluetooth connected timepiece. It's actually a smartwatch, in addition to being a split-second chronograph. Yep. It is funny how they do that in the they should know that in English that means email, electronic mail, but they still do it anyway, right?
Yeah, but it's it's not for us, it's for them.
If anybody knows in the chat what email is in French, or what email in French means in English, let us know. Type in the chat. Let's make it a fun game.
Yeah, it's got to be something like enamel, right? Something short for.
That's what it means. Enamel. It's not a direct translation.
You guys,
I don't know.
we're toying with the chat, guys. Remember, we're running a live stream
today. Me and Kiso today. We're the serious guys in there. No Boston collector, not even in the chat. He's baking his blueberry muffins. I love it. We're ruling
Boston's been left behind. He's persona non grata at Patek, at not at Rolex. At Rolex, he's able to get stuff.
Bro, look at this brand DNA. Look at the boutique I'm in, and look at the color of this piece, dude. This is it. We're in sync. We're in sync. Look at this color tones, boys. Earth tones.
Yeah, let's let's do this. Move you there, and then
beautiful,
boom.
Beautiful.
Ooh, it's a match made in heaven.
Beautiful. I just feel like my network goes up just looking at it. You know what I mean? I love it.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Gorge.
So yeah, that's it. That's the breaking news. Cartier and Patek Philippe implementing massive price increases across the board for their lovely U.S. customers. We are bearing the brunt of the burden for the price, and that's it. If you want Patek, you got to pay through the nose.
So what does this change? Does this change anything for you as a collector? If you're somebody who's buying Patek, you continue to buy Patek, you see this news today, what's your reaction? What do you do?
These have to have some kind of cumulative effect on your purchasing power, right? Like if I'm going to spend $6,000 more to buy a watch, doesn't that mean psychologically maybe I spend $6,000 less on something else? Like I decide, you know what, maybe I won't do something, whatever.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And the flip side is the dealer is also making less than he normally make when selling it to you. So it's like there's a lot of weird things going on. Because you as a consumer, of course, you're charging me $6,000 because you need to go, of things that are out of my control. This is a luxury. 6,000 is, there's not much places you can't get first class for 6,000 unless you're going, very, very far. So you gotta give me some chocolates. You're I don't know. You gotta give me something. I just don't. But I just, as somebody who's been around the block a few times, you gotta give me something. You can't just come in the next day charge me more unless we've already established you have a really, really good relationship. But Cartier is a great example. Why would I pay 10% more for Cartier today? I love the brand. I think they do great stuff, but I just don't understand why. And then we're not even talking about the other brands, which is oh, this is gonna be such a crazy year. I don't even know what to predict. I don't even know. Yeah.
How are these guys selling? How are Watches of Switzerland and Bucherer and all these guys able to sell? They've got 12 brands in their store. They've got JLC, IWC, Panerai. They've got Tudor. They've got how are they able to sell those things with these price increases?
I don't think they are. I think they'll pretend like they are. I think unless dealers are discounting, why would you pay? What did you do to cause the price to go up twice in the year, twice in 12 months? You know what I mean? You didn't do anything. So why would you pay? And that's how I'd be thinking about consumer. And that's what I'm telling my clients is I got to work harder to earn your business if I'm charging you more. I got to give you more service. So a dealer, they got to give you more. It can't just be like, hey, that's the times. Only Patek can do that. Because if I do it enough with Patek, I get my return back in sports watches, whatever. But like, what's the client journey in collecting Cartier? They already said they're not going to do NSO pieces. So I can't even say if I spend enough money, I'm going to get a piece unique crash because they don't want to do it anymore. So like, I don't know. Like, what makes you pay more for a JLC? It's a very weird thing. And I think what they should have done is say, hey, we're going to do specialty pricing or something, or figure out something else. Because all this does is bring back the word discount. What can you do for me today? Can you do something special for me? Or else I'll wait until spring break, or like I can take my kids somewhere. We get a great experience and then I get the watch. It's just a win-win. Because when you do it that way, there's no way, no matter how much you spend on the watch, your significant other, they can't neg you too much on it if you're in that type of situation. Because like, hey, I just took everybody out. Okay, give me an hour. I want to grab my watch. So it's actually guys like to do that more because it's like, hey, yeah, I got a watch, but we did a great vacation. So I don't know. The more I talk, is the more I'm like, I should be a Caribbean travel agent and just start that business up versus like, because why? I don't know. Something like this, you're gonna pay for it because you really want the journey. But even this, after 2 years, look at what these are doing on the market right now. You're losing $100,000. So you really got to think about these things. And the numbers are now so big. See, 189,000. So European, I could probably get this for $185, maybe $180, depending. Maybe not $180, but I could get it lower than 189 too. So why would I buy something that's 300 plus tax? You gotta rub my belly. You gotta rub the belly. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a big price difference.
Yeah, that's half off, basically. Jesus.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So what can I say to convince you to buy this at an inflated price? And I won't buy it back at Patek, right? I'm not going to take it back. And even if I do take it back, if they own this for 189, they're paying 160 or something for it. So it's like, how much are you going to really take a hit? And people are just they're not in the mood to take $100,000 hit anymore. A few years ago, sure, 6 years ago, just a different world where people would take these big hits. But now it's like,
I think there's always going to be that like handful of loyal, rich Patek people that they're only going to buy from the AD, from their boutique. They're never going to buy secondhand. True. I feel like that's the only kind of customer that's actually pulling the trigger on something like what we just looked at from at 350. Otherwise, I can't see how anyone could even consider.
I think you're right. I think there are a certain segment of the population that only likes to buy new, and they only like to buy from the boutique.
And we love those. We love those folks. hey, listen.
You love them on trade. You love them on trade-in.
On trade are the best. On trade, listen. Trade are the best. And there's like there's a beautiful bliss about that ignorance, right? You just walk in, you got the money, you pay whatever because you're paying full price. They're giving you extras anyway because it's like, oh my God, I'm getting full pop on this Google 4C or something like that. So like, you never.
It's unseemly to ask for a discount in some of those circles, right?
Yeah.
You're buying a luxury. You're getting a luxury experience, and you're going to quibble over a few.
Let me tell you something.
Few thousand.
What I learned in the Middle East is we're gonna at least talk about it. You could say it's disrespectful, you could say it's unseemly, but I've seen people who have no problem cutting the check. They just want to fight a little bit. Let's go back and forth. Let's pretend. They're not afraid to ask, and that's what I love about them so much, because the ask isn't always financial. Okay, I can't give you a discount, but you know what? You like F1? Your kids like F1? I got some tickets. I'll send you the F1. You like so in the US, we're so docile. We're like sheep that just been fed and just fattened up, and they roll us over, take our wallet out, they roll us over, take money from the other air, roll us over, we send them a wire. We ask for a hat once in a while. You know how appalled I was to learn that not everybody in Brightland, USA gets a hat? A baseball cap? In the Virgin Islands, in the Caribbean, I have lost sales because we ran out of. I lost $20,000 Breitling sales. I'm not even lying to you. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it because I forgot. I hid it away in my memory. But I've lost $20,000 sales because you ran out of hats. And the guy looked at me and he said, hey, buddy, I like you, but I love Breitling. I always buy Breitling when I go to the Caribbean. If you're not going to give me a hat, I'm just going to get on the ship. I'm going to go to the next island and get my watch with the hat. And I was crushed because I was just like, we're going to not do a $20,000 deal for a hat? Damn right. And he walked
like,
out.
I'll mail you 2 hats next week.
Oh my God. Listen, I was running. And he's like, nope. I like to wear my hat with the watch. I'm like, bro, I will mail you 3 hats. I will fly the hat to you. What are you talking about? $1,400 going out of my pocket. And he just like, we had a great experience, but he's like, nah, man. And that's because he, no matter what, there's a baseline for his money. For you to get that money out of his pocket, you need to give him his minimum requirements, and his minimum requirement is a baseball cap. So if you can't, you know what I'm saying? And these are how guys are going for Breitlings. So it's just funny to me, somebody spend 100, 200,000 and just leave with a handshake. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Big hugs. And then yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's like you want to. I wish these guys. I mean, the thing is that they do it so many times that it becomes routine for them, and they don't. Sometimes they forget that every single interaction is should be special. It's
every time.
Yeah, for them, it's their 7th. They're selling the 7th watch of the day. But for you, it's your one watch that you bought in a year, and they have to remember that.
You're not. I wish you could just tattoo that on their foreheads, because it's so true, right? That sometimes, listen, in the Caribbean on a high tourist day, we might have actually 20,000 people on that street, right? So you might have 10 deals in a day, maybe not all big boy deals, but you might have 10 transactions of the day, going from, I don't know, $500 up to like 50 grand. You have to give the $500 the same experience as the 50,000. You have to do it.
Let's not go overboard, CQ.
No, you have to go overboard, because if you're not doing it for the 500, you're faking it for the 50,000, and the 50,000 can feel when you're faking it. I've seen it happen. I've seen people who just
100%. That even when I was in Barcelona, I walked into the Patek dealer, okay, and I'm walking around.
Every time you're selling a watch, if you give the show every time, when it's time to do the big show, it's not a big show. This is just another show. This is what I do on Friday nights. But if you don't give that experience, right, and then comes the big client, then you're fumbling, then you're schwitzing. I fell in front of customers just because I was like, oh my God, commission, and literally fell on my face, almost like split my head open on the glass, because I just wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. And I think all around the US, a lot of sales people are this way. It's like, hey, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of telling people no, nobody wants to train me. They don't have the inner engine in them. And then the consumers have also been okay with like whatever kind of service, just kind of blah, blah type of service. And then so we're just in the circle where now they're raising the prices, but they're not raising the service. They're just going to say, okay, well, give me 10% more. And you know what? People are just going to pay it. So like I say all of this and it's just like deaf ears, I know, but it's crazy to me.
Yep. I mean, any thoughts, by the way, on the new Railmaster? Have you seen this?
Watch. I like the brown one.
This is the new Omega Railmaster, announced today, a revamped version of this. It's basically an Aquaterra case with a different dial. The Railmaster collection. Here it is, available in gray and brown.
What is it, automatic?
Yeah. I would think so.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good. What is it, like 5K retail?
It's like it's 6,000, 6,400 with the small seconds, and 5,800 with the center seconds.
Yeah, it looks good. Simple piece. Open back?
Nah, yes. Well, it's Omega, so probably I might be jumping to mine.
Here we go.
That's cool.
Yep.
Because a lot of times with the vintage pieces, they do closed back as like a heritage, homage bullshit.
This is pretty. It's not bad. But it's not great looking.
I mean, but for what it is,
yeah, $5K. That's not bad.
Yeah, other brands would charge you $12,000 just because of the movement.
There's the bracelet. Nice. So yeah,
it's like an Explorer. It's like an Explorer.
It's like a Milgauss. Maybe it's like their version of the Milgauss. Here's the old one from way back then, and the new one. See.
They're smart, man. They know how to keep producing pieces in the price range or product lines that are accessible. You could sell these in pretty much any market, and like you look around today at $6,000. Just 38 is a little small for me, but at $6,000, there's nobody else giving you that type of quality watch, not that type of movement. Like there literally isn't anybody giving you to that. Land Rover just gave you a movement. And how much they're charging Rolex will give you the Land Rover movement, and they're like charging crazy for that. This movement is maybe not better in that movement in terms of accuracy, but in terms of everything else, $6,000, and you could have got it for $5,000. And you could pick it up pre-owned for $3,500.
If there's any specific questions you guys have about the Railmaster, any specific photos you want me to pull up, or if you want me to pull up any specific articles about it, just let me know and I'm happy to do it. Or if there are any videos that you want me to play for you guys. Let me see. There might be a hold on a second. I think there's a new Railmaster video that I can play here.
I agree with DP on the full brush bracelet. Would have been better on this one. I think a little more of a rugged look would have been really, really nice. But
hold on a second here. Let me.
Oh, I thought this was Constance Kwan, man. That's the only videos I want to see now.
No, this is Fratello. Courtesy of Fratello, I'm just playing a little video here of the new Railmaster in action. I got SE in the chat. SE says, just coming back from the hot springs and only 5 hours of sleep before the Spartans call. That's the group where they do the weightlifting or whatever. Otherwise, I'd hop on in a heartbeat for this topic. Greetings to all. Have a great one. We'll re-watch tomorrow. There's nothing really to watch. It's just we are covering the release of the Railmaster, but most importantly, the bombshell news that Patek Philippe and Cartier, but mainly Patek Philippe, has have implemented draconian price increases for the U.S. market, putting those watches way out of reach of the average watch collector, implementing prices at new highs, record highs for the watch industry.
Do you think they will ever go back? If the tariffs are erased tomorrow, which is not going to happen, but let's say they were, do you think brands will roll it back? Or do you think this is the new normal? I personally think the dealer side, that maybe they'll give that back, but I don't think, unless there's big pressure, that they're gonna roll back the prices. I think they just got an extra price increase.
I don't think they're going to give the prices back. I think they may. I don't think they'll give the dealers back any margin either. I think they may give them some like behind the line marketing development funds or co-op advertising, co-op marketing funds, a little boot if it gets hard to sell particular pieces. But like a brand like Patek, they're not going to give anything.
They might just not raise it for a lot longer.
Yeah, maybe they don't raise it for.
That's a good point. Patek, I think other brands won't be able to help themselves, and they'll just keep raising. But Patek, they've lowered before, so I think they'll be. I mean, what's the entry price now? What's the 6119?
Which one?
6119.
Oh,
I think it's like 30 grand.
No, it's much more than that. Way higher than that.
Of course, 6119.
Yeah. 6119?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What's the entry level? Aquanaut?
Yes. It's back to that.
Fuck.
I just remember selling people Aquanauts, man. I remember people rolling up. It's just like, oh, I need something for the water. Oh, I got an Aquanaut.
Here's the 6119.
How much?
This one happens to be the G. 35,600.
Fuck. I remember seeing a 2 in front.
Yeah, it used to be under 30,000, right?
Holy shit.
So this is a $40,000 watch.
Fuck.
You live out in California or something, right? Or close to it.
Yep.
This is insane. It's
good that Wristwatchaholic picked it up when he did. He saved some money. If he bought it today, it'd be out a few more grand.
Yep. And then don't forget about this reference, which was positioned as kind of a sporty entry-level alternative.
Oh, yeah.
This is the 6007, which
Why
is
are
a
these
white
so
gold.
hated? Why are these so hated?
Well, go ahead.
Fuck.
TQ, share your opinion.
I just think they came out with too many colors, and it's not a sports watch. You know what I mean? They wanted to make it casual, but I think they should have made it casual in a different way. I don't know. I think these are good watches, but
me too. I'm just shocked at how they're so fucking unwanted. They're unwanted. The secondary, I see prices and I'm just like, good lord.
Yeah, they just got no. The response wasn't there, and they probably should have discontinued these after a year or so, and just at least so they could have some type of collectability. But it just people didn't want a 6007 with turquoise on it. If they did a full turquoise dial, I think that'd have been interesting. If they did
especially
a full yellow dial,
with this whole response to the new 6196, it's like, bro, just stay in your lane, stick with the classics.
Exactly.
This went a little bit out of bounds, I think.
You see, they had success with the 5212. They had success with those other pieces on like the denim straps and things like this. So I think this kind of snuck in, and they were like, "Oh, this is gonna be a good schoolboy watch." I think like in like the head of the ultra wealthy who run these brands, they're like, "Oh, this would be a great thing for my son to wear in university," or something like that. So like in that sense of me being like an ultra wealthy person and all my watches are six figures, this is a perfect watch for my son to go to university with. If he bangs it up, I don't care. But for somebody starting your journey on Patek, it looks too much like a kid's watch for you to say, I'm going to spend, I don't know, 30 grand or close to it.
That's the thing. Like I feel like they should have made it in steel and made it a lot cheaper, and then it would be like somewhat. I know they try and limit the amount of steel they do, but that would make it, first of all, more desirable, I feel like, and less expensive and everything, all the...
Yeah.
The 6007, by the way, has increased in price to a whopping, are you ready?
No.
42,150.
It should be 32.
40. It's 42. It's 42, and it's worth every penny.
Damn.
I knew someone who bought one of the first ones of these that came out, and sold it for a very, very big profit. And now these in secondary are about 28, 26, I think 27, $28,000. Yeah.
I'm sure today, if you approach the right person with 25, they'll come up off of them.
Jeez, what a hit. What a hit people are taking.
That's insane, man. See, well, we're to the point now where I don't know what to do, right? Because it's hard for me to tell clients to go into certain brands where 2-3 watches in, you could have made a bespoke tourbillon mini repeater from an independent, or you could have picked up a bunch of watches secondary. It's hard for me to say, okay, pick up the 6007G, pick up a semi-complicated. It's
impossible. It's the game is impossible.
Yeah, it's really. When I started, okay, boom, you get your Calatrava. That's 18, right? You get your 5146. That was like 44. Then you could still pop in something else, and by then, you're either getting your sports watch or you got 3 solid watches. but you still were well under 200,000. Like when I was selling, like 200,000 would have been like, like I don't know, like I'm selling it to you on a yacht. Like you just didn't. So now they say like this is 42, a 6119 is 35. It's just hard for me to tell somebody
the numbers just don't ever work anymore. They don't work anymore. They don't work. No. This 42,000. By the way, my watch, which I was lucky enough to get last year, which is this one, the 5396G. Like,
beautiful watch.
I bought this and I thought, I'm not paying that much money. And then I go and I look at the price today, 68,000.
Damn.
230. Maybe Archie's right. I overpaid. Listen, I'm wrong.
Archie, what was it when you got it?
I think it was 63,215.
Damn.
63,200. Yeah.
Getting crazy.
This is now the most expensive watch. Like the retail price is the most expensive watch I've ever bought in my collection. Because I don't think the platinum date is 68,000 now.
No.
Outrageous. Outrageous prices. By the way, we just received a word. Thank you to the great people in the chat. Thank you to John D. Breguet has just implemented price increases. Here is it's true.
The rebuttal has come.
Breguet, part of the Swatch Group, has just implemented price increases. Here's the very famous Tradition 7097 with the retrograde seconds.
That's the last brand that needs a price increase.
This is just like the basic Tradition, which is, I think, one of the most beautiful watches you can get. This one is now retailing for $46,500. $46,000. Who would have thought? I remember Humble Pine bought this watch, and he bought it. He went to Korea and bought it, and he paid, I think, $29,000 all in. $29,000 all in.
Yeah, I wish I could talk to some of these people of these brands. I just love watches, and I love watches. I love historical brands, but this is when you go to people in the board and say, we cannot raise prices on Breguets.
That impacts profitability, CQ. We can't have profitability negatively impacted. We need to maintain our margins.
You know what also impacts profitability? When nobody is buying your watches anyways, and you give them another reason not to buy your watches on the primary market.
We need to give our people better tools if they're not equipped to sell our watches.
Listen, you gotta give out more hats. More hats.
We'll give them a slightly higher marketing budget. They can do some events.
Yeah. Okay.
But Breguet. Thank you, John D. Breguet. I think this is one of my favorite watches that Breguet makes. I think it's incredible. I think the other one that I really, really love is go down. It is part of the Tradition line, and it is the retrograde date. Is it still here in the lineup? What'd they do with it?
Oh,
retrograde date.
Is it gone?
I thought it was still here. Come on, where'd it go?
Maybe
Tradition. No, it's a Tradition. Where did it go? Tradition. Maybe it's boutique only. That's what it probably is. Okay, it's the 7597. Is that what it is? Crap.
Man, right. I wish I had a store in the islands, man. I should have 10 years ago, saw the future and just.
Here it is. Boom. Watches. I love this one. I got the dial's nice and big here. 49,900.
That has a nice symmetrical layout, doesn't it? I like that one.
Yeah, I think this dial is like is big and unobstructed here. The time dial. That's why I like it. And then, but you can see all of the open work stuff. And the only problem or issue with this one is that you never get to see this hand, the retrograde hand move, right? Because it changes overnight, and then at the end of the month, it goes back, and you wake up the next morning, and it's at 1. Or maybe if it's one of the a month that ends in 30. Then it's set at 31 when it's supposed to be the first, and you actually push it over yourself, right? It's like our watch is so is intentionally inaccurate, so we give you the opportunity to manually move it to the next day.
Yeah, well, because you wouldn't pay the $150 to have it fully perpetual,
Now, when I first noticed this watch, it was 40,000. So it's gone from 40 to 50, basically, in the couple of years that I've been following it. Yeah, and it was a hard sell at 40.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful watch, but there's no upward pressure on the Breguet market, So there's nobody, you could go into 100 rooms. There's nobody who's gonna tell you, yes, buy this at full retail. You know what I mean? It just doesn't exist. And it's a beautiful watch. It's from one of the most iconic watch companies out there, one of the most iconic watchmakers out there. Even forget, take aside Mr. Breguet himself, but even when Daniel Roth came in the 80s, early 90s, what they were able to do at Breguet and just translate that tradition into more modern watches, but keep just a lot of great horology going on. Amazing things. But in 2025, for $49,900, come on. Plus tax. Man. So this is what, $53,000 watch. Come on.
Well, I don't. With my tax, it's add another 6%.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I mean, you're going to add another $3,000 on top of that. If you're in New York City, you're going to add 8%. That's another, $3-4 grand.
So, yeah. I just, of course, this is something that'll be discounted, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. This is one brand I really wish somebody would just buy them out of Swatch Group. It'll never happen, but yeah.
Some of these are really, really nice. I mean, the Tourbillon.
Oh yeah.
Look at 244,000.
Yeah, and worth it, right?
Not that nice. No, it's not that nice. Come on.
No, if there was a true secondary market, this would be worth it. But because there is no true secondary market, it's not worth it. But if you knew that you could buy this at 244 and you could sell it for like 175, it's worth it.
Yeah, those are big hits. Keslo, do you have a favorite Breguet tradition?
Tradition? I mean, I like the one you pulled up. When it comes to Breguet, my favorite is the Ora Mundi. I like that world timer.
Is that a little big model?
Yeah. They have different versions of it, but it should come up in the Classique.
The Classique line.
Yeah. Ora Mundi.
Okay. Classic. Which one is it? What does it look like?
There's a globe on it. It's a world time.
Oh, the globe. View all watches. Let's see if we can find it.
That new subscription is really good too.
Sure. Somebody wants one. But that means the price. Oh my gosh. Okay, well. I had somebody who just asked me. I was thinking about it.
I can't.
No. Maybe they don't make it right now.
No, it's in there. They definitely make it. It'll be in there somewhere.
There
it is. There's a white metal version of it.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
We have platinum. So this is the US version right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic Hora Mundi 5717, $115,000.
So one thing really cool with this, it has like a jumping function, so you could set 2 cities and it'll snap back and forth between them, including the date.
That is super cool.
It's quite nice. It's a little big on the wrist, but it's just it's well done.
Let's see how they handle Los Angeles on this dial.
L Angeles.
It's L dot Angeles. It's okay. It's all right. I'm not panicking. Expensive though. And do you know what these sell for in secondary?
Around 40 to 50.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Nobody's keeping the Breguet market up, you know. Not even Breguet.
Let's see if there's one of these that I like. That one looks like BB. Yeah. What's it? BB whatever from the Star Wars.
That's pretty good looking. I haven't seen BB-8. The blue.
That's the BB-8. Like a snowman. These are enamel dials, right? Like this one.
Yes. There's Archibald's watch up to the left. There you go.
This one?
That's an AC3 watch.
5177. No, it's not bad. It's not bad. A little boring, but PK used to have this one, this blue one. 5177. The blue. Yep. Got rid of it. I like these with the guilloche.
Yeah, that's always the question when you look at these Breguets. Do you go guilloche or do you go enamel?
30,000. 30,700. I think these look classic.
Yep.
Or classique.
That's the thing about Breguet. It's like if you know what you're looking at, this is amazing. But if you don't know what you're looking at, this seems like a crazier price than the 6119 at 35. I mean, this probably is a crazy. Why is this 30,000?
I don't know. I think I'd much rather have a Patek.
Yeah.
All right, guys in the chat. Anything else? Any other questions? Any other models you want us to pull up? $1.99 super chat, and we'll pull up any model you want. John D in the chat says the Classique 7337 went from 50,500 to 55,600. Happens to be the personal watch worn by Emmanuel Breguet. Thank you, John D. That's a 10% price increase. That's a hefty price increase. Ouch.
Yeah, they're one of those brands that I always loved, but I was like, if I got a call to work at a Breguet boutique, you just got to say no. You know what I mean? You just got to, don't do that to yourself.
Haruka says for $1.99, will you do pull-ups? No, I will not. I'll pull up your watch, but I won't do actual pull-ups. But let's see what else. Let's cruise around the Patek website. Let's see if the steel cubitus went up. The steel cubitus when it first came out was 41,000, if I recall. And the steel cubitus is now 43,260 for a steel sports watch. 43,000.
I wish I could just like send pictures and prices to me in the past and just like see my reaction.
Yeah, like, hey, by the way, you could have bought a Nautilus at a discount for 19,500.
I could have literally bought every Nautilus that came in because it was in the showroom, right? So I could have just bought it, put them away, and maybe definitely still worked. But like, if somehow by miracle I could save it until COVID, I'd have been a sheikh in Dubai, bro. I'd have been like amazing.
See, do you ever get bitterness towards a watch because of that? Like, I feel that towards the Aquanaut because I could have bought one. It was like 2018. I could have got one for like 21,000, like low 20s, and I was just like reluctant. I was like, it'll come down. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Fuck me, dead. Now I never want one because I just was too hesitant back then.
Yeah, no, I'd say for me the 5711, the Snoopy, the 5711 because when I was there, before I started selling watches, you don't think about these type of things, right? But then like you start selling and you start doing good, and like you're not responsible with your money, so you're like, what stupid things you could do with your money? And it's like, man, maybe I could squeeze out like a 5711. Maybe I can't pay the whole thing off, or maybe I could like partially, finance like $5,000 or whatever. And then it just took off, and I was like, all right, so maybe it'll take me 30, it'll be 30, 40,000, and then just kept going. And it went from a watch that I realistically could get, like realistically, I figured out how I could get it. It was more like they want to kiss ass to have the manager to give it to me. And it turned into a watch where I would not spend that type of money that they want for it. You know what I mean? I'd buy something else. It prices.
I think every collector eventually gets a story like that. Like you talk to so many people, and there's always those like the ones that got away.
Yeah, for sure. But you just never know. You never know, and like you don't ever try to be the guy with the crystal ball, because you've seen so many of those guys crying today. So like you just you live and you learn. Listen, the Snoopy, I could have had it. I could have had it at $77,000. I could have had a dealer's discount. I let somebody talk me out of it. When we had it in Watchbox, I probably could have picked it up 1920s. And like I was still like, this is crazy. It's gonna come back down to 14. It went up to like 28. And I was like, oh, this is stupid. $44,000, $50,000 watch. You know what I mean? Like it's just, but again, like there was no logic. Omega going that many times over retail, they make over 1,000 of them. There's nothing in my logic that told me this would one day be a $40,000 watch. And same thing with the Nautilus. Again, that was something you could just walk in, point to it. You just have to be lucky enough to be there. But if you were there, you got it. It wasn't a big, oh, who are you, Kesselwitz? Who are you, OC? Give me your LinkedIn. It was like, does your credit card work? Great. Let's step to the side, please. Let's make it happen.
Yep. Let's see who we have here. If you could do me a favor and just type in the private chat if you can. I'm pretty sure I know who you are. But hold on a second here. If you have access to the private chat, just let me know.
I do
if
love
you
this.
Confirm your identity. I will refer to you as the name that you have entered here. But
it's like a ghost.
Yeah, I mean, I have an idea who this person is. I don't know if you can turn your camera on, because I mean, just to kind of like so we can see that you're a real person.
It's a very anonymous name, and I think that's the only drawback. We just drop in the.
All right, I'm not going to use that name.
He's verified.
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can.
Can the whole chat just get together and help me buy the 6196p? I mean by like buy it for me. That's what I mean by help me buy it. Let's get that started.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna add you to the stage here. ZD, welcome to the show. Can you hear me?
Thanks. Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
There you go.
Yes, I can hear you.
How are you?
Welcome. It's first time joining the panel.
It is indeed. I appreciate you letting me on. Thank you very much.
Do we know each other? Have we met somewhere before? Are you?
No, I'm a fan. I'm a fan, and I took a shot. So here we are.
Oh, I love this. Fresh.
Is there any particular reason why you're coming on today, or is it just like, hey, all of a sudden I figured like I saw the link there, I'll click and I'll jump on?
Yeah, I usually watch the show post that being live in particular, but I'm like very interested in the world of pricing, and I think that it sort of is driving me crazy. So I figured this would be a perfect day for me to come on, frankly, more than anything.
And do you want to share what part of the country you're in?
Oh yeah, I'm in California.
California. Okay, so it's ZD from California. All right, so Southern California. I'm originally from Southern California. I'm from
Southern California.
All right, cool. Just leave it at that. Leave it
Perfect.
at that.
All good.
Go. But you've got a whole bunch of great ADs in Southern California. You've got West Time, you've got
Yeah.
Gary's, you've got Hinghwa Lee, you've got
Yeah.
Polychecks, you've got in
Oh,
in
wow.
Orange County, you've got Bucherer. You pretty much got a whole bunch of, but they're all spread out in different areas. So don't reveal who you're working with. But tell us
Sure.
a little bit about yourself and or your collection.
Yeah, I live in Southern California. It's a smattering of both, modern and vintage. Like Rolex, Cartier, G-Shock, Christopher Ward.
Nice.
I have a
Good stuff.
Patek.
Good stuff.
I touch a lot of the bases, frankly, across the things that the YouTubers push and kind of interesting things that I've found in my journey.
And when did you first start collecting watches? When did you buy your first watch?
Uh, my first watch was like a tag that was bought for me, almost 30 years ago by my parents. And I wore that watch for a very long time. And then I ended up with a Rolex Thunderbird about 25 years ago, which was sort of my first nice, high end, watch, I would say. And I've been kind of, adding to the collection, really over the last 25 years, I guess.
Well, you sounded so young when you jumped on. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought you were in your 30s, like
No,
when you
I
jumped
appreciate
on, and then
I
you.
appreciate that. I'm very youthful. But no, yeah, I've been my driver's license says I'm much older than thankfully I currently look today.
So, question. You're already getting some questions from the chat. Peruka asks, question for GD. Do you feel that you've been influenced by YouTube, Instagram, or I'll broaden it to social media for your
Uh,
watch collection? I'm assuming like over the last 5 years. Do you feel like social media has influenced your tastes or any of your purchases or
uh,
desires for your watch collection?
100%. And I like don't even say it like I don't say it proudly, but I don't say it like with any level of shame, truthfully. I mean, I think there are things that I've seen through the sort of rampant coverage of watches and wonders or the sort of daily drops of the YouTubers or through social media that have kind of turned my head over the last really I'd say 4 years, and they've led to certain purchases that I've like really enjoyed. Last year I bought the new Zenith Defy Diver Revival, which is like a watch, frankly, like I became aware of when it got covered at Watches and Wonders, and I bought that like right when it came out, and like I
Okay.
thought I thought the price point was great, and I love the watch, and I wore it today. I really enjoy it, but that's probably not something that I would have looked at had it not sort of like hit me in the face, a year ago. Frankly, through Time and Tide, that YouTube channel, when they sort of
Mm.
sat down with the Zenith CEO, they talked about that watch, and I was like, I really like that, and I'd sort of been intrigued of adding a Zenith to my collection, but they're not cheap, to start. So that felt like a good price point, kind of
It's amazing
to
after all of these years of collecting that a watch from a brand that you must have seen,
totally.
over the years and but
Yep.
never bought anything, and you just out of the like not out of the blue, but like you saw a video and you saw Andrew McCutcheon and Time and Tide, and
Yep.
they're like, "Hey, look at it," and you ended up buying it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more of a watch collector kind of thing to do than any of the hype collectors would do.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's just sort of like, for me, like there are brands that I'm interested in, and you sort of like, you go into different stores and you try on different things, and then there's just a decision process for me that may be different from other people, who are watching, or about price plays a concept like where I am liquidity wise, and pulling the trigger on certain things. And so it just felt like at that moment, like that was the like exactly kind of like how much I wanted to spend on a watch that I thought was really cool and interesting, had some interesting heritage to it, but with some sort of modern, you know uh updates, and I was like, this feels like a great one to add, and
what's your favorite brand? What's your favorite brand?
That's like what's my favorite brand? I mean, I honestly, it's probably Rolex, and I think it's probably Rolex because I just think through the world of like the vintage, what you can find out there in the, neo vintage or vintage market or in the contemporary space. I think you can really find so many things that are not going to be dramatically different, but that may give you that like a different feeling from one other one that you put on your wrist. Putting on a modern sub feels very different than putting on a, you know, a, a sub from the, late 90s. And so I just think there's like a lot of value in the brand, and I think a lot of variation in the brand. So it's probably my favorite for that reason. Like if I could own any watch, I'd probably, want to get a Journe. I'm sort of pretty enamored with those watches,
Really?
but yeah,
Okay.
I really am. I have to say, I've tried quite a few on, and I really I really love them. I've tried on, the ones that they're selling now, and I've tried on some other ones that are similar from their lines, but maybe a little smaller, and I just really like it. It's very expensive and obviously very hard to get, but
Would
yeah,
that be your your first dress watch, or do you have other watches
no, I
that
have
kind of
other
classify
dress.
as dress
I have
watches?
I have other dress watches. Yeah, I have like like random stuff. That I've bought over the years. I have a Cartier. I have a couple Cartiers that would qualify as a dress watch. I've bought some like random like vintage watches from Europe that are not only branded with the retailer from like the 60s, that I like, and that are were inexpensive, that are like nice kind of like little gold plated uh, you know, dress watches. So yeah.
Got it. John D in the chat, $10 super chat. Will brands eat some of the tariffs on some SKUs to keep the base demand static on staples while allowing consumers to eat the full burden on the top end of the catalog? Nice to add a new left coaster to the panel. Thank you, John D. It doesn't look like the brands are doing that. The price increases are across the board. I've often criticized some brands for not paying more attention to particular collections and particular references and not increasing prices on all of them across the board. But it looks like that's what they're doing. It's easier for them. Like, for example, I have no idea why Rolex would increase the price of the Cookie Monster, the white gold Submariner, when they know it is hard for their retailers to sell. Yet they bumped it up from 44 to 46. It just makes no sense to me. John D, but it looks like that's what they're doing. They're just raising prices across the board and not paying attention to particular collections. Question from Brody in the chat for ZD. Which Patek Philippe reference do you have?
I have a 5226.
5226.
Very
That
That's
is
the
a
asphalt dial.
Yeah, exactly.
okay. So that leads me to believe that you started a journey with your local
Correct.
retailer and you
Yep,
bought it at retail,
totally.
and and uh and you love the watch.
I absolutely love the watch. I truly love it. I think it's great. With with a I did this thing like a couple months ago where I already had the watch, but I sat down like one morning and I went through basically every Patek, excluding the Aquanaut and the Nautilus, from 70K and under, which I thought felt like a very,
Which is only like 3 watches. I mean,
which is at this point, after like five increases, we're getting close to basically three watches. And I looked at all those watches in their modern catalog, and there's basically um, like none that you can't buy at either retail or way below. And when in the secondary market, especially when you include like a California tax,
mhm. Yeah.
and so I don't regret buying that watch at retail at all. Like I I sort of decided that I was going to walk into Patek and like put out like kind of what I was interested in. You know, you sort of like living in the world that we live in today, you kind of like don't expect to get these calls. I got the call like pretty quickly. And I was like fairly shocked and like then frankly like panicked about the amount of money that it was going to cost me to buy
Mm-hmm.
it. But I sort of girded myself and I did it. And I love it. I'm so happy I did. But I think with that brand in particular, like it's just like there's no place, there are very few places to go,
It's impossible.
in
You're
that
at this point.
brand.
You're at this
It's
point. Yeah,
impossible. It's
yeah. Unless
impossible.
you
I
want to
mean, it's,
buy
it's sort of like I
complication,
re
grand complication. They want you to buy something, either another Calatrava or something very expensive that's not a sports piece.
yeah.
But
Truthfully, like even
you
those
knew
like
that
hard.
going in, ZD, right? You knew that going in.
I did, yeah, I did, but I didn't, like I didn't really think about like how little, like I did not go in with the expectation that like, oh, I'm gonna get this and then I'll get one of the sports models. Like I'm not a idiot, but I didn't
Right.
really,
Love it.
I didn't think how, because I didn't think like, okay, cool, like there actually won't be any place I'll want to go at retail, you know, like so quickly, because what I really had, my first choice had been the 5212, which I think is a great watch. And at that point was still under 40 grand, which now it's over 40 grand.
Mhm.
With the most recent price raise, still tremendous, even at tremendously expensive at $38,000, and not a watch that they get a lot, not a watch that you like they seem to like be able to offer as quickly as I got offered this 5226. But they're out there. You go get 10 of them right now and not pay, the $4,000+ in tax that you would pay in this state. And you're sort of just like, well, what am I doing? Like, why would I ever walk back into that AD, and other than they're really nice, which I mean sincerely, like, and like there, like if I was doing it to get the aquanauts, which I'm not, like they're still never going to sell it to me until I spend a superfluous amount of money. So it's kind of like what becomes the point of all these things with these brands. I think it's really like that brand in particular, which I is tremendous. Like, it's basically at this point now only for like centimillionaires and billionaires, as far as I'm concerned.
I
You
know
just like it's
when you
crazy.
first started collecting and you first got the Tag Heuer, would you ever think that there'd be a point where you would own a watch that was a $45,000 list price watch?
No, it's
I
fucking
mean,
ridiculous.
it's
I mean, I
ridiculous.
lit
It's a
it's
time,
this
it's a time only watch, and it's entry level. This is a beautiful piece. I think you made an amazing choice. And again, you bought it because you liked it and you love it, and you're going to wear it and enjoy it. And if anything comes down the pike from it in the future, that will be an amazing thing. But there's no expectation. There's no unrealistic expectations
no.
that you're getting an Aquanaut or you're getting a Nautilus or anything. It's like kind of a similar situation to where I am with my annual calendar. I bought it because I thought it would be the best dress piece for me. I wanted something from the best brand on the planet to be my dress watch, and I have it. And like, I don't have to ask for anything else. I think it's uh, in a way, it's fine to not ask for it and to sit there and wait. You and I, maybe we're similar age, but we're going to be around for many, many decades to come to enjoy life. There's chances are there'll be a time and place where I'll be the right person for a hard to get watch, but it doesn't. I don't expect it to be this week or this month or this year.
Yeah,
It
no,
could
I
be somewhere
totally
in the
agree.
future. Yeah.
I totally agree. I
What
mean, I
Rolexes do you have in
actually
your collection? What Rolex do you have in your collection?
I have in my collection, I have a modern sub, a modern Pepsi GMT. I have my first uh Thunderbird. I have like a 1946 Bubbleback, which I bought
Oh
Ooh.
wow.
last year, which I think is really cool and was like not really expensive, and I love it. It's like great, small, 34 millimeters. I have a Date Just, um, another Date Just, like a one from a couple years ago. Um, yeah, I have a smattering of that stuff.
I love that word. It's mattering.
Yeah.
I'll take a little bit of issue with Brody here. Brody says, "Great first Patek Philippe, but you should have gone great if you're not going to pursue more Pateks at the AD." The thing is, you never know what you're going to pursue. That's the great insurance policy that that ZD now has.
I totally respect that, and I think if, I really like that. I think it's a 4947, which is like a 38 millimeter
The
steel.
ladies' watch,
Yeah, but like I
With denim.
happily, with a denim.
It's okay. It's okay.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I like that watch. I have small wrists. I have no shame. But
Love it.
you can get that watch for, it's like that's like a $55,000 watch. Like if that's all I wanted, they'd be thrilled to sell me that thing. I know that for certain.
Yeah.
Like why would I do that? I think my analysis was like the break on this is between, like, I'm basically paying tax versus what I'd pay it, in the secondary market, which is not insignificant. It's thousands of dollars. Call me romantic. I wanted to have that first experience with the AD. It's also the most I've ever spent on anything other than a fucking home. So I was sort of like, I kind of wanted to feel like a certain level of comfort, walking into a place that I could walk back into, if there was an issue. And so I just said, why not?
You did the right thing, ZD. You did the right thing. Don't listen to.
Yeah.
No, look, I think part of
I'm assuming your Patek dealer also carries other brands too, and maybe even Rolex.
Yeah. They do.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like one of the things that I don't like, I totally have no issue with is like, I totally have no issue when people like get all kind of like frothy about, you should have done this, you should have done that. Like, I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. I think for me, it's kind of like, yeah, I do what I do and I'm comfortable with what I do. And it's kind of like all good,
I think like I agree with you. Like we should respect everybody's opinion, especially when it comes to like the watches you buy. But I get a little weird when people are like, well, oh, you should have you wasted your money going, not to say Brody's doing this, but there are a lot of people like in the Reddit world who's like, oh my God, you bought something AD, you're a dummy, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, why can't I have a great experience? And the one thing that OC said, which is so true, which as somebody who's worked for ADs, I can tell you, that guy that you sold a piece to, who doesn't hit you up in a couple of years, when he finally sees something he likes and he hits you up, and it's not a Aquanaut or something, it's very easy to go to the manager and be like, ZD barely buys, like he hasn't hit me up in so long about something. He's really interested in this piece. That call, that message is heard a little bit louder. And when you go gray, the gray market guys don't care. You know what I mean? Like, like your first watch, you want to have a special memory. You want somebody, to kind of, you just always want to remember that great memory. Not necessarily do you just want to send money to the abyss, get a watch back, and never hear from that guy again. And that's what most of the gray market is. So it's a real difference in the experience.
I'm fortunate because I live in an area where, like, as you pointed out, there's a lot of ADs, like throughout Southern California, and I definitely like frequent a lot of them, either just to hang or like I've created relationships with the ADs, or the sales associates there. And, like, I don't know, it's, I don't mind, having some of those relationships. I've like, because I live on, there are places that you can buy from on the East Coast, like if you want a Cartier and there are, individual shops where you can get a Cartier and they will, for a wire price, will chop that, 10, 15, 20%. Plus you don't you pay tax. Like I do that too, like that doesn't bother me either, but, for this purchase in particular, it was like kind of a no-brainer.
Dear Artifact says, in my opinion, ZD got one of the best Pateks you can get. Congratulations. And by the way, is the name ZD a nod to one of the most famous Sopranos lines? So what? No fucking ZD now?
I wish I was that smart to have done that, but no.
So yeah, was it the 4947 that you think might be your next ask, or have you thought about, like you said, you went through that exercise of going through the entire website? Is there
No,
one that, I mean,
I
maybe the
still,
finances don't allow for it now, but is there
I
a
would
watch that you say at a couple years down the line you definitely would think about getting?
probably still the 5212 is probably the one that sort of speaks to me more. I think there's others that I would, now that I have my first, that I'd kind of like consider looking at, you know, on the gray market, because they're, 55, $1,000 watches that you could get for, much less. But I think from them, with what their current pricing structure is, probably the 5212. I mean, I do love the 5396. I think that's like an incredible watch, with the blue dial. But
Mhm.
I think it's like 60, it's a $70,000 watch now. It's like 68
Yep.
grand,
It's
so
interesting
it's
the
like,
amount of crossover buying from 5226 buyers and 5212 buyers. Like it seems to be people that consider one of these also considers the other.
yeah, I think they're like both, first of all, like they're both economically a good entry point. I think they're both like, obviously, like, I mean, the 5212, like, in my opinion, is like, nothing's a great deal, but like it is a weekly calendar that's really interesting and cool. And it, I mean, it's not that much, you know, more expensive than, one of those, like, the kind of like carbon fiber Calatravas, which is like, those watches, like, which, I have a friend who has the yellow one. Like, I've seen it on him. It looks pretty good, but like it wouldn't be a watch for me. But I think that watch is 42 grand, like that's
Mhm.
fucking insane. Obviously it's white gold, not steel, but like, okay, you know. So, I mean, to me, one of the craziest things, I mean, they must have known these price adjustments were coming, but just sort of like, I did like that new, the 6196 or whatever it is, the salmon
Mhm.
dial. But
Yeah.
by the way, I'm looking at it now. They raised the price already. When they released it, it was $47,000. Now it's
Yeah.
$50,000. So
Yeah.
it's a $50,000 watch. They
In one
have the same
month.
in 1 month. It has the same movement as the 6119, which, at one point was like $14,000 less, is still now 15,000, $14,000 less. It's just sort of like, it's gone crazy. I mean, I, uh, I don't know. Like I said, I just think that that brand is like, it's fine, but it's sad, but it's just like, it is what it is. Like, it's just not a brand for, I think, the vast majority of the people that like love watches anymore, unless you want to have like one great watch, and and but like, you really, like, when you think about what people need to earn to like buy these things, it's fucking a lot of money, you know.
It's insane. And now you're looking at FP Journe.
Yeah,
So,
totally, you know.
explain.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, I think that I think the places that are going to struggle, and this is based on just like my own bullshit opinion, are the places like Watches of Switzerland or the Bucherers, or like all those things that fall in that place where I don't know that they're discounting or able to discount, but there's a lot of like independent, multi-brand retailers, both in California and I'm sure scattered throughout the US, that like they're just going to be willing to cut into their wholesale price, to like move watches, and I've seen it. Some friend of a friend asked me to help him like get a Cartier Panthère. Why he couldn't do it, I don't know. But like, I just like looked up
Mhm.
a few places on the East Coast, because he's in California as well. And like, I found him one that was like, I mean, he ended up getting for like $5,000 or $6,000 less than it would have cost him here, including tax, And like, I don't know, it was just like a service for a friend, but I found someone for him that would, do it, pay him a lot less. He could have easily walked into a Cartier boutique, just like bought the watch out of the case, but he
Right.
didn't want to spend all that money, So if you were one of these big companies where you can't stop an IWC off, for, a customer, like, why would they buy it? Why?
Yeah. And what's the watch scene like in terms of like either meetups or your collector friends, or like who do you usually talk to? Do you talk to anybody personally about watches? You have friends other than
Yeah,
this one friend? Like you have
yeah,
a little group
totally.
of gotcha. So like
I have a group of friends, yeah. And then like there's a bunch of different watch clubs in the area where I live. I'm active on social media, so like I'll end up like DMing people that have things that I think are cool and kind of like strike up relationships with people.
nice.
I like this like guy Rob the American who's on YouTube. I think he's like really kind of funny and charming. He lives in Manchester, and so like I've like DM'd with him, and he asked me for like 80 recommendations uh, out here, for a friend of his. Yeah, I don't know, just like it's like anything. Like I've gone to FP Journe events, and like you go alone and you just sort of like walk in and start talking to people, and I actually think that
Yeah.
collector base is like a really nice group of people. Very interesting too.
So you're familiar with that with the scene on Rodeo Drive there, Sunset Boulevard, or wherever the hell they are. They have
Yeah, so
at Pigeon
Sunset.
there. They also have a AP House that's right next door
They
and stuff
do,
like
yeah.
that. Yep. So you've
Hmm.
been, yeah. So I mean, you definitely in the scene there. Is there which particular at Pigeon is the one? Is there one particular one that you're interested in?
I love the chronometer Souverain with the Havana dial. I just think that's like such
Mm.
a beautiful watch. It's like great, like perfect. I think the brown dial's cool. I don't have anything in my collection that looks like that. Um, that
It's a
would
good
just
pick.
be like a dream, you know, a dream entry watch for me with them.
Let's take a look. Hold on a
That's a solid
second.
pick. I think they
Chronomet.
still produce it. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, Chronometra Souverain
Yeah, they
Havana.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, the Havana dial, yeah.
Here we go.
I might get one on the bracelet. It just looks
It's
crazy.
it's working. It's
Dude,
working.
hey, CQ, the bracelet is just as much as the watch.
Oh yeah, it's FP Journe. Like we're
Yeah.
not talking price here. We're
The
not.
bracelet is
Yeah.
50 grand.
Do you know that
Yeah.
to swap the bracelet between watches, you're supposed to send it back to FP Journe, and they charge
What?
you a full service swap,
Are
and
you
they charge you.
Crazy.
serious?
Oh yes. Oh no. That's why the thing with the bracelets, when you saw somebody with more than one bracelet, you looked at them like a god, because there not that many bracelets were produced, and they figured out the hack. Because the whole thing is like you have a bunch of Journes, you get one bracelet that you swap around, but every time you need it swapped, you gotta send it back, and then it's like, yeah, this
And
is a
here it
beautiful watch,
is.
though. You should
A
get this
lot
one.
of people. A lot of people would kill to get this one.
Yeah,
And what is
it's
the price point of this one? Do you have any idea?
oh no,
They're like 50 retail.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
like
For the
50.
platinum's a little bit more than the rose gold. You
The
know what's
rose.
interesting about this piece too? I typically only prefer white metals myself, but in this case with the rose gold, if you look at the case back, because the movement's all done in rose gold, it kind of looks good to match the metal
I
with the
I
case.
totally agree with you. I like
On the
that,
money.
I 100%. Like it flows so beautifully into it. They do
Yeah.
that other kind of like the one with the moon phase, which is the Automatique Lune, I think it's called, which is a very
Aqualung.
similar watch, but with the moon phase. That that one I kind of like on the platinum because the moon plays off the platinum, but that's like my own thing. But I think on that one for sure, the rose gold is just a stunner. See,
Yeah.
I don't mind them at all because like we all kind of have a sense of like how few watches they actually make and how popular the brand is now. And like you'll like go to, I've gone to one of their meetups in New York and I met a guy and he was, waiting for the same watch that I like, for he's like, I'm like, oh, when did you, kind of put your interest down? What are you waiting on? And he's like, it's been about a year and a half and waiting on this. And it just kind of is what it is with a lot of those folks,
Yep.
because you walk into AP and you're like, I'd like Royal Oak with the blue Newt dial, and they're like, well, you couldn't possibly have that, and you're like, you've got like five in your fucking safe right now,
Mhm.
like
Not
you're
for
just
you
like,
though. Not for you.
not for me. You're just like, want me to buy an offshore, but with these watches, like you just know that like they have stores all over the world. They only make 1,000 or roughly 1,000 watches a year, and the desire for them far exceeds their production, and so it's just kind of like you're like, okay, and the truth is, like with something like this, like I don't want to spend that type of money right now, and I'm actually really enjoying what I have in my collection, and I would definitely like need to move some things on in order to do that, and so
Right.
like I'm like in no rush.
But have you formally requested this, or
Yes, I did.
okay?
Yeah,
So
I
if,
did.
if, if you get the call for this, you're buying it.
Yeah,
You're getting
totally.
the charge. The
Mhm.
charge is going on the credit card.
Charge is going on the credit card. Yeah.
And would
I'm
you
at a
have to financially liquidate something in order to pay for it, or
Yeah.
would you psychologically remove something from the
Well,
collection,
I'll tell you
or
something
both?
that I'm not totally proud of, but when the call came in for the 5226, like I had some Bitcoin, not a lot, but like enough. Like I bought some Bitcoin over the years, just like here and there. I'm like not like a Bitcoin dude, but like, whatever,
Mhm.
just sort of like a little Bitcoin. I like fucking sold everything that I had, like in
Good job.
yeah, well, I sold it way at the bottom. Like I sold it in
Who cares, bro?
October before it fucking ripped. So I didn't cover the whole purchase at all. It just sort of like took, a major edge off the purchase. But there's you can't time the markets obviously. So but yeah, I would have
Oh,
to.
that's a terrible story. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a terrible
if not,
story.
if
But
it's a terrible story because like watches are not investments, and not only are
no,
they not
not at
investments,
all.
but you probably lost a fortune
No,
buying the
I probably
watch.
definitely
Well,
not a fortune.
No.
I definitely lost like a, probably
a lot of
5 grand,
Li-
money.
which is yeah,
Okay.
which is
Listen, did you
Oh,
make
okay.
probably
money? Did you make money
yeah.
on the BTC when you first bought it to when you
Yeah,
got into it?
totally. Yeah,
Then
yeah,
Oh,
what
yeah.
we
okay.
talking
See,
about? Then
Keith's
what we
always
talking about?
always
Yeah.
painting the most rosy
No,
scenario.
Yeah.
no, because like we're gonna sit here and we're gonna, oh my god, I could have did this. And listen, if
Yeah,
I
it's all
held
about
all the
opportunity
Yeah.
cost.
dollars,
Opportunity cost.
do you
Yeah,
Opportunity
love
cost.
the
totally.
watch? Yes. You just gave
Totally.
us
I
20
don't
a
regret it.
beautiful.
I don't regret it at all. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Take that part of the
I I
story out. Don't tell
I
people
would
about
have
this.
I would have to move on some things for sure if that call came in for the Jour.
How did you find out about this channel? How did you stumble upon this mess?
Oh shit, the real
I
question.
fucking addict for watches, and I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and so you have been fed to me through the old YouTube algorithm. That is really
Algorithm?
how this. That's
Okay.
really how this happened.
I am scared to ask, but what
Yeah,
other channels do you watch that allowed my channel to be fed into your algorithm that you also watch?
Time and Tide. Um,
Shout out
I
to Time and
watch
Tide. That's
Time
allowed.
and Tide.
Okay, good.
Time and Tide. Teddy Baldessar.
Teddy,
Um,
good friend of mine, Teddy Baldazar.
who I like quite a bit. I like to call him the Walter Cronkite of watches.
Yes, you started watching Teddy way, way back in the day when he was doing
Yeah,
just purely watch reviews before he became
yeah,
a
a
industry
salesperson.
guru. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's excellent. I watch Rob the American, who I mentioned, who's got like a small channel. I just think he's really charming. I watch a bunch of the kind of vintage guys, Menta watches. Um, the who else?
God, my
Sometimes
channel is nothing like any of those. That's
I know.
interesting.
Sometimes Bark and Jack.
You're elevating, OC. You're getting there.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Have you heard
Um,
of Archibald Chesterfield III?
I cannot say that I have. I have not.
See,
The Honorable Archibald Chester III. I have not spent any time with
Oh, come on.
him.
You're
see,
safe here. You're safe here.
Kelso. I'm telling you, man, the whole hobby's moved on. Everybody has their
How
own
about Paul
channels, their own
Pluta? You
audience.
know, Paul Pluta.
No, fucking no. It's over. It's over, Keslo. It's over. It's sad, but it's true. Time and Tide is the new king of
I see.
and Teddy Baldazar, the new king of the watch hobby.
Nice.
How often do you watch? Do you catch a show on the replay? Because I know you're on the West Coast, so it's
Yeah,
usually at
your
weird
show.
hours
Yeah,
for you.
I usually catch it on the replay. Yeah, I've been watching a lot. I think the episodes have been great.
Oh, good. Is there any particular like topic or style or show that you like? Like, do you like? Is it like when we do reaction videos, or is it just like when we have a little panel we're talking about
I love
current
the
events or
panel
today's news?
stuff. I really like the panels. I do.
Of
I like to
course,
hear, and it's like such a kind of like everybody says it, and it feels corny, but like I do think like the community is fun, and I do enjoy talking to people and listening to people talk and kind of expressing their opinions and passions, and so like I think, I dig that. That's kind of my where
Brody
I
is having a
enjoy.
go at you at the chat a little bit, but Brody's is in Southern California. Reach out to me on Instagram, and if you don't already follow me, and then just send me a message, and then I'm sure there'll be like a meetup or a dinner sometime soon in LA, and maybe it'll work out where you get to meet some of the Colony crew in person. That should be interesting.
Totally.
What else? And any reaction to any current events or news or like anything in your collection? By the way, have you ever sold a watch?
Yes. I sold a sub that I had.
Flipper.
No, but I needed some cash, so it wasn't. I wanted some cash.
I like people who have real world budgets and real world financial constraints, right? Because this whole idea that you should be spending limitless amounts on these ridiculous men's accessories is asinine.
Yeah, no, I just, it's one of those things, you're not wearing things. Like, I'm a bit of a hoarder, so like my preference is to not, but in that moment I was just sort of like, I'm not wearing this. I don't need it. And like I'm going to take the money. I have this glass shoot that like
Yeah, please
a
sell
center.
immediately.
Yeah, I love it. I bought that like, I don't know, probably
Yeah, I can
15
help you get
years
over
ago.
that real quick.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't wear it. So it's the Senator Panorama date. It's a pretty watch. But yeah, I'm looking to move that on now.
Let's consolidate the collection. But
Consolidate,
you mentioned
yeah.
that one of your parents got you into watches, right?
It was a gift, yeah. When I was young. So I just sort of, it's like one of those things, like I'll never forget. I wore this tag for a really long time. And one of my good friends in college was like really into watches. I didn't quite realize that like looking back on it, I realize it now. And he was sort of like, he had a Breitling and he loved his Breitling. And he went like deep with me about why his Breitling was infinitely a better watch than the tag I had. And that was probably like one of my first real watch conversations. That's like a long time ago now. But yeah, so that was like kind of like my starting point.
And was it your father or your mom who bought you that watch, or was it both? Both
Both
parents.
My parents.
Right,
bought it for me.
so I'm assuming that your dad also has at least some kind of watch collection too. If they bought you a mechanical watch,
He did years ago, but now he just like wears an Apple Watch. But like he actually, like, I don't know where it is, but
but he had this old Daytona from 1966.
Yeah, I don't
that
know. It's weird.
he
It's got these like kind of square markers. It's so interesting.
he
No,
put in
he's
a
got
drawer somewhere.
he's got one of those old Quorums that looks like a bar of gold, I think. But I've never seen him wear it. He's like, yeah, I think I have that. Like that's the only thing I have left. He's had like a bunch of watches. I remember he wore like in the 90s, he wore like a Hublot on like a rubber strap, which was like kind of cool back then. I know everybody talks shit about that brand now, but I thought that was really cool. And I remember he had like a day date that he sold a million years ago. And but yeah, now he just wears an Apple Watch. I keep telling him like, you got to go to the safety deposit box. I want to see that quorum and see if I can get it serviced and wear it. But that's the only thing that he really has anymore.
And do they live locally? Are they close to you?
Yeah, they travel between here and the East Coast. But yeah,
but you see them quite frequently. What do they think?
I do, fortunately.
And I'm assuming you show your mom and dad, hey, oh, by the way, like I just bought this, and they're like, oh,
really?
That's nice. You don't really, you don't share anything with your dad about like, hey, by the way, I just bought this watch. What do you think?
Him, but he doesn't really care anymore.
Doesn't care.
He's just like not super interested. I had a conversation. I'm married, and I don't know if people were paying attention, but Perez Scope kind of like did this whole thing on a watch that was being sold recently by one of the vintage dealers, where he kind of like tore it apart. It was really interesting. Really interesting to me. That's an interesting thing that I think, if you asked what interests me, is sort of like the world of vintage and like, how do you trust any of these people? And like,
they're all shysters. They're all they have all Frankensteins.
Totally.
They're all one part from here, one part from there.
And the Presco thing was great. And told my wife, she looked at me like I had like 15 heads. I was like, there's this thing that's going on. Like this guy dissected this watch and all these people
Yeah,
are defending him.
big mistake. Yeah,
And she was
don't
like,
ever
what the
talk to your wives about these.
fuck are you
They think you're
talking about?
crazy.
Yeah, totally. So, I talk to my friends. That's basically it.
But she's obviously, if you're married, does she know that you made like a $40,000 purchase on a watch here and a $20,000 on a
No,
watch? No, she
no,
doesn't even know.
no.
Wow.
I would, yeah. I mean, not like not in a good way, but not in a bad way. I would say,
Right. You're just keeping it secret in an open and transparent way.
100%. Yes, totally, totally.
It's
Sort of
amazing
like
what we do.
you
It
sort of
it, it
bleed
turns
these things. You kind of bleed these things into rotation. I like to say,
this hobby makes it has convinced us as men and husbands that it's perfectly acceptable to hide 5-figure watch purchases from your spouse and not tell them. Yeah, meanwhile, if your wife went to Bed Bath and Beyond and spent $500 on a comforter, you'd be like, "What the hell did you
well,
do?
I'm like, what's with
500
all
for a
these?
comforter?"
I'm like, what's with all these door dashes that are going on? Like, what are we doing
Yeah,
here?
just drive and pick it up. This is
I'm
a
like, what?
tremendous
Like,
waste of money.
we've got food in the house. What's going on? What are we doing here? You know.
Yeah, but
So
vintage. I mean, that's that age-old saying that vintage is a minefield, and it really is. I mean, there's so many people with these stealing the hands from one watch and putting
yeah,
on another, and
totally.
like. But is there one particular? If you could snap your fingers and have one vintage watch in your collection, no price is no limit. What would it be?
Um, I'd probably have I'd probably do like a vintage 222. I really
Oh,
like that. I really like that watch. I've handled the new gold one. I've only seen the new steel one in person, but I've never put it on. I've seen a bunch of vintage 222s lately. And I don't know, I just think that watch is really awesome. So probably that would probably be it, I'd say. Um,
Keslo, any questions or any interrogate? Would you like to continue the interrogation of ZD?
No, thanks for hopping on, man. This was
It's good
cool.
that
You got a great collection there. Thanks for hopping on. You
it's
should hop on more often.
Thank
yeah.
you. No,
If
I'm so appreciative of you guys letting me in, barging in here unasked and being able to share
By the way,
some stuff.
wristwatch holic. I don't know if you've been listening for long, but over the last couple months or so ago, which wristwatch holic was in the chat. He's an LA guy, and he just started his Patek journey and bought.
Nice.
Well, you've heard he bought has a 5212 in his collection, which is the weekly calendar that you like,
Love
and he
that.
also
Yep.
has a 6119 Calatrava in his
There you
collection.
go.
So
Two
he's
beautiful watches. Which
both
one?
purchased
The
from the
gold,
AD. They're
the
both, yeah.
yellow, or the white
No,
gold?
I think he has the white gold, right? Wristwatch holic, the white gold with the gray dial. Let us know.
Yeah,
in the
we're due
chat.
for an LA meetup. We'll have to arrange something soon. We'll get you in the WhatsApp.
That'd be great.
Yeah, or just on IG. Just
Perfect.
There you go.
You can reach out to me on IG, and I'll hook you up with somebody in LA.
Awesome.
Yeah, for me, like I was thinking, like it would be awesome to have a vintage Daytona.
Yeah.
But then I think to myself, so you know what? It's probably going to feel so cheap and light and like jingly jangly that I probably won't appreciate it as much as I thought I would.
For me, I really want to be able to wear these things, and so like I bought a vintage, like a 1991 Explorer, like a polar dial, and like the looms aged really well, and I like love the watch, but I like still get like a little, like I'm not gonna swim in it obviously, but I get like a little weird in my mind wearing it. It wasn't prohibitively expensive at all, but I don't know, like so sometimes I like, as you said, like I'm not like, obviously they're hard assets, like they will retain some form of value, but I'm not thinking about like buying museum pieces, but like I want to wear them. And I mean, it feels like in every major city that you go to, like you may get your fucking arm cut off for whatever you're wearing. So, part of me just sort of feels like even if it's snap your fingers and have whatever you want. I want something that I would really feel like good and comfortable to wear,
Right.
at any time, kind of.
Well, you definitely got an amazing collection. It's probably, geez, a really, really good collection. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
What
That's very.
else? What else to talk about? Anything? I mean, let's see. Let's try and. So, do you have any brothers or sisters who are into watches?
No, my one of my brothers is slightly into watches, and he lives on the East Coast, and we've like gone like watch hunting together before, but he's much smarter than me when it comes to like being financially responsible. So he's not willing to like be reckless in any way. So he bought himself a Grand
Nice.
Seiko, which he really loves. Um, and I think he's got a Speedmaster, but he's not like super into the conversations about this stuff.
Got it.
My other brother doesn't care.
Sweet. Well, I mean,
Cool.
thanks for
Thank
jumping
you.
on. I mean,
Thanks,
yep,
man. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
it's ZD, everybody, new panelist. Great to have him hop on and verbalize his collection. Been watching for a while, and it's great to have him. Keslo, thank you for jumping on. I know we have a lot of people watching. We have 80 people watching, so I want to remind everyone to upvote the live stream. Let's get to, come on, we should have at least 50 upvotes by now, guys. Let's see what, let's check and see what we have here. Let's see. How many do we have? We've got 40. Only 40? Come on, guys. Upvote the live stream. Reminder to enable notifications so you receive notifications whenever we go live. And for those of you with a star next to your name, thank you for being members. Please consider, if you don't have a star next to your name, please consider joining. We have memberships available at very, very reasonable rates, monthly memberships. And for those of you who are members, upgrade your membership. Show your support for the channel. There's the link to the memberships. Guys, have an amazing afternoon. Oh, and let's remind everyone, which I think is very important, to reach for the crown. So enjoy the short reminder of how awesome Rolex is, and we will catch you on the next one. By the way, if you want to do a quick after show, I'll drop the link in the chat for the VIP after show. If you want to say hi to ZD in private, or you want to say hi to Kessler before he takes off and joins other live streams, because he's got a live stream schedule that he has to attend to. There's the link for the VIP after show. Peace out, you guys. Have an amazing rest of your night. Reach for the crown. Peace out. See ya. And action.